Hey everybody, P. Meyer, and we are coming to you from, I'll take that off. Hey everybody, P. Meyer, and we are coming to you. What a wonderful world it is when you're doing all the production work yourself. And that's all part of live. If you ever joined me on any of the live events that we've done, you know that we have our occasional hiccups. So right now is no exception. Hey, see, a bunch of you are already joining in with us. I appreciate that so much. I know it's, let's see, what, 7 o'clock over on the East Coast, 4 p.m. here over in the West, which, of course, is where I'm at the Seattle Northwest Auto Care Alliance trade show, Automotive Training Expo. And it's not their first. It used to be under the banner ASA Northwest, but of course they made the switch and now they are the Northwest Auto Care Alliance. Hopefully a little later on we'll be able to chance to talk to some of the NWACA board members to find out more about that change and what the new alliance has to offer. We also hope to have later on today some of the trainers here. If you've been following me on the social media today, wherever you happen to be watching this, I've been posting mainly to our Motor Age Facebook and Instagram some of the things that are going on here in the training sessions. Some really talented trainers here. It's a good size event, great turnout. I think so many people are glad to have the opportunity to once again come to these in-person training events. And hopefully, by doing some of the coverage that we're trying to do for you guys and gals now, that we will help give you a feel for what you could expect if you decide to make the investment in your own training. All right. You're going right to it. We have a banner up there for a reason, bud.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right in front of the camera. Again, guys, that's live. We tell you. I put a sign, do not cross, studio light flashing. Hey, if this takes off, we'll try to make this better. Okay, Juan, thanks so much there from Bolivia, South America. That's awesome. I'm glad that you joined in. If you tuned in earlier around noon Pacific time, we streamed the keynote address by Gary Smith of Diagnation. Very, very motivational speech. He has some great things to say about the need for training and the technical challenges that we're going to be facing and have been facing. But, we had someone comment on that one that was pretty interesting. One of the people that was viewing at the time commented about all the control modules and move to hybrid electric vehicles and all this new technology. The only thing different is that the technology is just changing so much faster. It is more of a challenge to keep up now than it's ever been. But with that said, we faced technical challenges in the past, new technologies in the past. I've been around long enough to remember when we got away from carburetors and started going to fuel injection, old throttle body fuel injection, for what that was worth, and the single board engine controllers, the very basic computers that were used back in those days, and electronic ignitions, and a lot of the moves kind of scared some of the older guys who weren't used to that and were afraid of that technology. But you know what? Today, that's a piece of cake for a lot of us. To now, if I just met someone else earlier, he'd been out of the business for 20 years. 20 years. He took a break from mechanics and went to do something else. And I think it was some type of mining operation he was involved with for 20 years as a corporate trainer with that group. And then that industry disappeared. So we had to go back to his roots, go back to being a tech. And again, the challenges of the changes that we've seen, gosh, in that length of time is really throwing in some curves. But you know what? He's here. He's here to learn what he needs to learn. You've heard me say this so many times, if you followed me for any length of time, training is something that to quote one of my good friends, training is something that doesn't cost, it pays. And there was another comment made earlier that I want to kind of comment on. They said, greetings from New Zealand. Thanks, Gunther. I appreciate that. That's awesome. But going back to the point at hand here, he was talking about how techs just don't want to get training. They don't, the majority. And I don't believe that. I don't believe that for a minute. I've met technicians all around this country. And yes, when you come to something like this, these live events, unfortunately, it seems to be the same faces a lot of times. Not regional. An event here on the West Coast draws its attendees. Something on the East Coast has others. There is a small group that seems to be at all of them, but it's still that. It's a small group. There are 750,000 of us out here in the United States turning a wrench, and that's just technicians. That doesn't include shop owners. That doesn't include collision repair. It doesn't include the educators and the students. So there's a lot of people out here, and a lot of times I've learned that they just don't know where these resources are available to them. That's why and I'm kind of curious for you guys who are already watching, how many of you were aware that my group, Motor Age, does training webinars, and now we're doing 8 this year. In fact, we have one coming up on April 23rd, so you might want to mark your calendar for that. April 23rd at 6 p.m. Eastern. And we offer most of these at no charge. All you have to do is log on, fill out the little registration form, set up your training account with us, and then you can attend at no charge. So I encourage you to look for that. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and put this in the chat for you guys. So I encourage you to go to this website. Let's see if I can do that without messing up. I'll send that link to you guys. And I encourage you to take advantage of it. Like I said, again, the next one's coming out April 23rd. And they're not always advanced classes. And I think that a lot of guys and gals who go out for training, they're looking for that high-tech stuff. And to be honest with you, many of the technicians I meet still have some cracks in their foundation. And I find typically that if I can help you shore up those cracks in your foundation, give you a good solid base, then you're able to take on some of that more advanced training and have it mean something for you, make it beneficial to you. If you've got a weakness in your base, then you're not going to be able to put those higher techniques to work. And again, right now, it's just ultra critical. Used to be when we went to training. Oh, that's right. Kind of got off tangent there. Let me back up, because we were talking about that comment that one tech made to me about the techs just not wanting to get training. Like I said, I don't believe that for a minute. Many years ago, we held a huge training event, one of the largest ever held, and we were able to offer attendance at no cost because we went to our sponsors and asked them to put the bill for the training. And it was great because, as I said earlier, you tend to see a lot of the same faces. But at this event, there were so many new, fresh faces that were coming out. And it was great to see these men and women excited to see the kind of training that was available to them. They had no idea, or it was outside of their reach in the past. And now here's a chance for them to get a taste of it and see what it's like. Same with all of you who are watching. I want you to think about that. If you can't afford to come out to an event like this right now, hey, I get it. I was a full-time tech for 35 plus years, and it was hard for me to make a trip like this. But that still doesn't mean you can't get advantage of all this other training opportunities that we have for you. Like I said, the online, the webinars that we do. And I promise you, it's not like right now, solo here at the desk. For our event. But no, we do it live. We do it in the shop with my good friend G. Trulia up at TST up in New York. So we try to make it as realistic as we can for you. So I apologize. This is brand new platform. Something else I'd like to hear back from you guys is what you think of us doing something on a more or less regular basis that would kind of be your source for information and resources related to the automotive industry, just like you saw in that little clip that I tried to play earlier. Hopefully that worked out okay. And to be able to bring you some of the people like Gary Smith and Malin Newton and oh goodness, so many of the national trainers that are here today. Scott Schott and Eric Ziegler, my friend Trulia, Tanner Brandt is here with WorldPack Carquest, and there's just so many other resources that we can bring to you on a regular basis like that. So if you think of doing something like that would be of interest to you, well, we had it set in a regular time that you could put on your schedule, then yeah, let us know that too. Next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to put in my email address so that if you have suggestions on how we can better help you, then I want you to write me. You know, the speaker today, Gary Smith, made a very good point that I'm going to stress again here today. Most of the trainers that I met or I meet, they're not in it for the money. We're here because we have been lucky with this industry. The industry has treated us well, has allowed us to have a decent career and provide for our families. And we want to help you do the same. We want to help you be as efficient and productive as you possibly can so that you can make the best living you can for your family. That's really all it's about for me. And I mean that with all my heart. So tell me, how can I help you? Tell me, what can I do more to make your life better? And we will strive to do that. All right. As far as the event right now, the show just opened a few minutes ago, and its classes are still running. So a lot of the techs have not yet come down onto the trade show floor, and obviously the instructors are tied up with what they were doing. So it may be a bit before we start adding people on the microphones. So you're just going to be kind of stuck with me for a little bit. But let's see if I can get. And then my hosts, they love the idea, but I could have had a little more help at this point with it, right? Yeah. And so, like I said, it's new for us. We're trying to make this worthwhile to you. So let me ask you this too, you guys who are watching. Hey, Michael, how you doing? So before you get really deep and start having these various guests come through, can you tell me how's the audio? How's the picture? Is everything okay on that side? Can you hear me okay? And Neil, I'm going to share what you just said because I think that's really important. Okay, Neil offers most of the training when he was starting out cost more than my wages. Forget getting the boss to pay for it. And just found our channel, Weeks View Learning Heaps. Thank you so much, Neil. I appreciate that. You know, I agree with you. Again, that's what I find is one of the biggest challenges that technicians face. I meet big corporate types all the time. I meet people at the OEMs. And for some reason, they tend to think that all of us technicians make $100,000 a year, and there are a few that do. Don't get me wrong, there are a few that do. But the median income for technicians is only about $45,000 a year. And if you're supporting a family, it's hard. It's a challenge, let alone, pay for a trip to one of these training events. Hey, I get it. I really, really do. I was in the same boat when I was a tech full time. If I went to my wife and said, hey, honey, I want to take $1,000 and travel to some out-of-state event, airfare and hotel and food and the course of the programs, whatever, she would have looked at me like I was crazy. So, yeah, I get that. So, Jimmy, like he said, let me go ahead and share that with everybody because that's another very common thing I hear. Jimmy, like to share. Thank you guys for all you do. being online is my only resource for training these days. If it were, for those of you who don't know SD, that's Scanner Danner, tremendous resource. I encourage you to check out his channel, and I encourage you to check out his premium website. Fantastic content online that he can help you with your learning curve. You really can. My buddy Michael here. Michael, I tell you what, Michael, I want you to put me a post in there, tell him a little bit about what you're up to now. We may have some heavy duty guys popping on, and you're a great resource for them. So throw that in the chat, maybe a link in the chat there that he can get to, and I'll put that up for everybody to see. But going back on the discussion about affording training, but it's getting to the point today where you can't afford not to get trained. And here's something else I want to share with you. Very commonly, I hear that same comment that the one tech just made about getting the boss to pay for it. That just really gaffes my butt. I mean, what the hell? I'm not online. Gaffes my ass. So we're all employees here, right? You know, when I hear techs tell me that, the first thing I think of is, what the hell's wrong with the shop owner? Doesn't he know that the more he can make you efficient, the more he can cut down the number of mistakes being made, parts being purchased that didn't need to be purchased, inefficiency in time, how much that's going to affect his bottom line? Training is not a cost for that guy. Training is an investment. And thank you, Grunter. He made a comment there, and again, we'll share that real quick because Grunter is one of our out-of-the-country technicians that participates in our videos and webcasts, and he brings up another great point. You go to other countries, training resources like we have in the United States, no comparison. We have got it. You guys have really got it good here in terms of what stuff you can access, as Grunter points out. Okay, so thank you for that comment, Grunter. And I'm going to put here for Michael his information. He's a heavy-duty instructor, and I tell you what, we do a lot of stuff with scopes. I'm just going to throw it out there. Michael's very, very good with the scope, and there's a lot of applications for heavy duty. He also has a YouTube channel you should check out for some information. So, Michael, thanks for that. But again, like I was talking about, if your shop owner isn't helping you get trained, then find another shop. Guys, you've probably heard talk all the time of the shortage of technicians in this country, and it's getting worse. Finding good, capable technicians, and let me define this. If you're a technician who is comfortable studying new information, applying what you learned, doing a proper diagnosis, fixing it right the first time, if you're a professional, then you can write your own ticket. You can pretty much go wherever it is you want to go and get a job. And there are a lot of shop owners out there who will support your training. In fact, I've met a number of them at the SDX World Pack event last week. There are some here at the ATE event. There were a bunch of them at the Vision event. They close their shop for the week, and they bring their entire staff paid for that training opportunity. So they're out there. So I'm going to say to you guys, if you're working for a shop that's not paying you what you're worth, and it's not supporting your efforts to get trained, not helping you access those resources. I mean, hell, we have all of these training videos on our YouTube channel that any shop owner can take advantage of and have just a little lunch and learn if they want to. If you're in a shop that does not have that culture of continuing education, of continually growing professionally in your skills, then find another shop, because they're out there. They want you. So I'm just going to throw that out there. All right. So it's getting a little busier here now. Still need to find one of my NWACA friends to help me corral some of my guests. So we'll just keep on until we can get one of them to come by. If you're just checking in with us, this stream is going to be going for the entire trade show. And so we'll have some little bits and pieces here like we have here where it's kind of quiet. I'm telling you in about another 20 minutes tops, it's going to be a lot busier for sure. And I'll be able to get some of those people that I've been telling you about to come on with me. So while we're waiting for that, how about some other news for you? This is mainly geared for you shop owners out there, or people who are thinking about opening a shop. Again, like I mentioned, I was at the SDX World Pack event last weekend in Orlando, and their executive vice president of Advance and president of World Pack, Bob Cushing, did a great keynote address outlining the future of our business opportunities. And I'm going to tell you, like the song says, the future's so bright, you got to wear shades. Yes, the pandemic kind of slowed us down a little bit, but we're already recouping that. And according to Mr. Cushing, we're looking at growth rates of a minimum of 4 to 5% annually, which hasn't been seen in over 2 decades. So that's all right. Hey, Michael, thanks for joining in there, buddy. I appreciate you. And hey, we'll be here till 8 o'clock. So if you get a chance, come on back and see me, right? But like I said, he was painting a very good picture of what you have to expect in a business. And what's beneficial to us is that the average age of the vehicles in what they call the fleet, the vehicles on the road, is increasing. People are keeping their cars longer, which means the need for maintenance and service is growing. And that's our opportunity. Okay. Again, while we're here, if you have any questions for me, feel free to throw them in there. As you can see, we can go back and forth on the chat. That's why I got the laptop in front of me, so I can keep track of that. And let's see, what other news can I give you? Well, let's just check the headlines, shall we? I know we had another story there listed for you. Yeah, again, encouraging news in the automatic aftermarket. Revenue for auto parts, accessories, and tire stores have increased 14%. 14%, right? Hey, there's one of my NWACA guys. How's it going? I'm going to ask a quick favor. I asked Brenda to kind of like help me invite exhibitors to come over and talk. Did she say anything to any of you guys about that? No. Yeah. You want to go first?
What's that?
You want to go first?
Sure.
All right. All right. We got our first guinea pig. All right.
I'll make him a great deal. I'm sure you will.
So we go ahead and get this gentleman mic'd up real quick. All you got to do is clip that somewhere. We're not worried about how neat it is.
Yep.
You can just hold on to the transmitter there. There we go. Have a seat.
And where do you want me? Right here?
Yeah, anywhere's good.
All right.
So, we got a chicken. Just kidding. We got the first one, right? And we're gonna break this guy's cherry here on live streaming and get him out there in public.
Cool.
So let's go ahead and start off with this. Just tell everybody your name, your company.
You bet. My name is Dave Parkhurst. My company is Greenhaven Interactive. We're a digital marketer. We've been hanging around ASA and then now NWACA for 20 some odd years. In addition to being in the trade show, we do support for the event and make sure all the electronic stuff works. When we're not doing that during the rest of the week, we're helping folks with their digital marketing, whether that be new websites, whether that be social media, search engine optimization, anything having to do with digital marketing.
Yeah, and I think a lot of shop owners don't really realize how important that really is.
Right.
I mean, today, just like you guys, what are you watching? You're watching video.
Yep.
For example, and you're watching on a social media network somewhere because this is going out to all of ours. So that's where you guys are, and that's where your customers are.
Absolutely.
Right?
Well, and whenever anybody has a question about anything, what do? They Google it, right?
Sure.
And so if they have a question about auto repair and what to do with their car, and who they trust and who they want to see, they're going to Google it just like anything else. And so you really want to show up there.
Sure.
Before I had another business that I owned for some years in the construction industry, and one of the stats there was that before anybody would select or even consider going into a store
Sure.
to look at flooring, carpets, hardware, that kind of thing, 2 weeks earlier they were talking to Google. So I want to be at the place where my prospects are as early as possible, and that's online for everything now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and think about it, because most people are doing their shopping there. Used to be you asked the people in your church group or your bowling league who they used.
Yep.
And now we have online, so now we're asking Google, we're asking Yelp, for the reviews. We're looking for those 4-star, 5-star companies, the ones that have the comments from their own customers, some how great an experience they had. And this is something else I think a lot of aspiring shop owners and even shop owners who are watching should understand. When I was behind the counter dealing with customers, they're not necessarily shopping price, are they?
Right. That's exactly right. They're looking for somebody that they can trust.
Sure. They're looking for the value.
Absolutely. Value. Yeah. And I mean, price is in the equation someplace.
Sure.
But it's definitely not at the top of the equation. You want somebody, especially if you're going to have a major transaction, which whenever I take my car in, it's a major transaction. And I want somebody that is $100 less than another shop and does a lousy job. I want somebody that's got the reputation, that's got the experience. And so I'm Googling them first too. Now I've got relationships with shops now, so I don't have to do that anymore.
Right.
But that's where you start. And that's where there's an interesting statistic recently came out, and that is that people trust online reviews more than they trust a reference or a referral from a friend.
Wow.
Scary.
Yeah.
On one hand, as a digital marketer, I'm like, wow, I can use that. On another hand, it's kind of a scary commentary on our society, but it nevertheless is true.
Yeah, yeah. And if anybody wants information about working in your company, where do they go?
Go to greenhaveninteractive.com. You can also go to the NWACA website, and we're a sponsor of NWACA, and so you can just click on us right there and find us. You can also call me. I do answer that old-fashioned telephone thing, 253-906-2705. But the main one is greenhaveninteractive.com, and we'd love to provide for our friends in the automotive industry. We provide a free digital audit that for other people outside we charge $1,500 for.
Wow. So that's a great value.
It is.
And if they're a NWACA member?
It's free. Zero cost.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, well, you heard it there. Take advantage of that. And I like to get guests like this, because a lot of times you focus on the technical training at an event like this.
Yes.
Right? That always seems to be with the leading headline. But I know a lot of technicians who were very good at turning a wrench, could fix a car in their sleep.
Right.
And then they went into business for themselves and fell flat on their face.
Right.
Because they forgot, hey, I need training in that area too.
Exactly. You got to fill the bays. If you can't fill the bays, you can't work on the cars.
And you got to maintain efficiency. You got to know the books. You got to know what numbers are important, which ones are not.
Exactly.
So again, guys and gals, if you're watching, if you're an aspiring shop owner, this is just one of the many resources that events like this provide in terms of training, and then resources, of course, to help you. Maybe you are just thinking about starting a shop and you want to educate yourself, know all your ABCs before you pull the trigger and open that door. Check them out, okay? What's more, the website?
greenhaveninteractive.com.
All right, Dave, thank you so much
for
being my first guinea pig.
Well, and I'll go wrestle you up some more interviews. How about that?
Yeah, you do. I'll tell you what, you do that.
All right. I'll do that right now.
Thank you. All right. So, yeah, again, like I just said, if you're watching, I want you to think about that. If you're an aspiring shop owner, don't forget you need the training for that too. You need to invest in yourself in that before you open that door, so you can have every chance of success. There'll be some people we meet later on who are actually coaches to help you do that. So we look forward to seeing some of them a little later on. Like I said, it is about 4:29 right now here on Pacific Coast. We've been on for a little more than 30 minutes. The classes are just starting to break down and let loose. I can hear the dishes rattling over here, where they'll be enjoying a buffet dinner here in the trade show and wandering around and talking to all the vendors that are here. And I don't know if you saw it earlier. I did a quick little video on our Facebook channel showing just a little bit of who's out here in terms of the exhibitors. I hope we get a chance to talk to the majority of them as the evening goes on, because there's just so many resources here, for you. So again, you're watching P. Meyer Motor Age Magazine, Vehicle Repair Group. You see the logo up there, vehicleservicepros.com. It's our company website. Home to Motor Age, ABRN, which is Auto Body Repair Network, our collision repair magazine, which brings you the hand tools to diagnostic equipment to major shop equipment. It's all in there. And there's the distributor. We have our publication for you too, Professional Distributor. And if you are anywhere in the aftermarket, from in the parts houses, part stores, manufacturers, you name it, going up the list. We have Aftermarket Business World, bringing you the latest on the big picture in the industry. So, vehicleservicepros.com. If you're in the automotive aftermarket, then we have the resources and information you need to succeed. So keep that in mind and visit vehicleservicepros.com. All right. All right. You know what's killing me? I wish I could show you. I'm right next. Every event like this is the food, and then right over here is the bar. And I can't wait for a break. Like, put that up, young lady up for a drink. But it's taking a little traffic through, guys moving through, checking out all the variety of booths here. That's just one part of these events. Again, if you do online training, if you've gone to some of our webinars, or if you attended any other, because there's some great companies out there with resources. One that immediately comes to mind, and who is well represented here tonight, is the Carquest Technical Institute and the WorldPac Training Institute. Both of these companies have leading training programs, both in person, like they have represented here today, and online in classroom in their facilities, virtual training, just a lot of resources. So I encourage you to go visit these companies. That's part of the advanced group. And in fact, we just have some projects that we're doing right now with Advance. You may have seen some of the stuff that I just did with them at WorldPac. If you haven't, I encourage you to go and check out the interview that we did with Lauren Bolier and Rob Morell of WorldPac, talking about their variety of resources that they have, including one that's one of the best kept secrets in the industry when it comes to service information, and that's their service information platform, MotoLogic. I don't know if any of you guys who are watching have tried MotoLogic, but if you haven't, I encourage you to do so, because it has direct OE information available in it. It has OE schematics available in it. Of course, yes, you can do the block diagrams and the general information if you'd like, but it has a variety of resources in there. And I think we got a volunteer.
Hello.
Hey, how we doing?
Good. How are you?
Jeff.
Jeff
And
Rudnick
you are with
Pit Crew Cooperative.
Okay, so we got to get we got another one here, guys. So let's get him mic'd up, and you can just plug that in anywhere you want.
Okay.
And you can hang on or let that sit on the couch, wherever you prefer.
Like, how about like this?
Yeah, we got to put it on the outside.
Yeah, that's going to work better, isn't it? Like that.
All right.
Is that good?
Yeah, that's great. Jeff, I appreciate you coming on over. I guess you got grabbed.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Actually, Dave Parker's told me, and Mark Simons actually told me I should come over here. So.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
So tell everybody who you are, who you're with.
Jeff Rudnick with Pit Crew Co-op, and we administer a rewards program and community engagement engine. So,
all right, you got to explain that one a little more for me.
Yeah, so it's an interesting concept. We've been doing it for about 20 years. And so what we believe is that if you lead with your heart as a shop and you team up with your customers to do good deeds in the community, that you essentially don't have to advertise, that people are hungry to be involved and do good things and like to be a part of a thriving community. So we utilize a rewards program that generates rewards dollars at the shop. They can spend it at the shop, but what most shops do is that they set up fundraisers either for needy families or different organizations in the community, schools, churches, or even a response to a natural disaster. And the consumers can donate those rewards to that need. And
Okay.
Right, and then the shop takes that and donates it on their behalf.
Okay, so if I was a shop owner and I called you on the phone and said, "Yeah, I heard something about this Pit Crew Co-op thing,"
Yeah,
walk me through it from step one on up. What would that be? What would that look like?
So if you were just signing, if you were coming in to learn about us, we'd say, our rewards program offers a suite of benefits to your consumers that generates intense loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
So they earn rewards dollars. They get roadside assistance throughout the U.S. and Canada. They receive a referral program that gives them an incentive to send in new customers through word of mouth, and they can earn some money on that. The average shop gets about 8 to 10 new customers per month that way. We track pretty much any service you'd want and reward the customer for taking care of the vehicle properly. We believe that what's good for the consumer is good for the vehicle and it's good for the shop. So if they take care of that vehicle, they get rewarded. So we move the consumer through an expanding and contracting suite of benefits based on how they maintain their vehicle. And the rewards dollars go onto the card. If they behave properly and customers understand this, they get to keep these benefits. If they don't, then they lose them. Again, not all customers are created equal. So you want to reward your clients for doing the right thing for that.
Yeah, I'm sure if there are shop owners out there watching, you all have that customer you can't wait to fire, right? We know him. We know him really well.
Yeah.
It's that Everett sent you guy, right? Everett sent you changed the oil in my car. My radio doesn't work.
That's right.
That kind of guy. So I can see where maybe he won't get as many rewards.
That's right, and that's the cool thing. The program takes care of that, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't just give everybody everything, and that's really a key thing with the rewards program. You can't give everybody the same benefit. Right? They need to understand what it takes to earn that. And today's customer, actually, they do understand that. And what you're going to notice when you run your first fundraiser, like we just ran a fundraiser for Rolf's Import here in Tacoma. Sadly, there was an officer that was slain here locally. And we were able to, within about 10 minutes, spool up a fundraiser. You can do it right through the portal. And of course, his customers were flocking to donate rewards, and then with the link to their GoFundMe information as well.
Wow.
And so what it does psychologically is it changes the relationship, right? So it's now not about just getting your car fixed. It's about having a true relationship with a merchant in your community and doing good deeds.
Right.
And it just feels good. And so, and then it attracts more customers, and that allows you to do more good deeds.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. As a founder of a small nonprofit myself, I'm going to have to go back to my shop owners in my area and say, hey, we need to partner up. You need to hook up with Pit Crew Co-op and name us as your beneficiary. Right? That would be awesome, right?
Yeah.
So again, Jeff, name of the company?
It's Pit Crew Co-op.
And where do they go?
You can go to www.pitcrewcoop.com, or you can reach me directly at jeffr@pitcrewmarketing.com.
Okay, so you heard it here, guys. Go ahead and check it out. Sounds like a really cool program where the shop owner benefits, the consumer benefits, and people who are in need are going to benefit.
Advisors love it, which is rare. Very rare that a new program that the advisors love.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, Jeff, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
You just unclip that and we're all good. Okay.
Get it, Jeff. Get it. Get it.
Okay, I think I might have my volunteer who's going to go after my next interviewee.
I'm Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer. Oh.
Dave sent me over here.
Oh, hey, he's doing good.
If that's okay.
That's awesome. We're just going to mic you up here. I guess I should just clip that anywhere you want.
Okay.
And we can just set that right there.
Oh, that's right. We got to go righty.
Yeah, got to make sure we keep it on the outside there.
Maybe this is a good one?
That'll work.
Yeah.
Awesome.
There we go.
All right, so now that we have you mic'd up, and now we can hear you right.
Perfect.
One more time. Who you are, who you're with.
Jennifer Filzen, owner of Rockstar Marketing.
Oh, I've heard of you guys.
Yay!
Yeah,
That means
awesome.
our marketing's working.
Yes.
And forgive me, I didn't get your name.
I'm Pete Meyer.
Pete.
I'm
That's
with
right.
you.
We talked earlier.
Yes.
Did Brenda come over and find you?
Not yet.
Okay, I'll tell her where you are now that I know exactly where you are.
Yeah, I told you. Well, she's going to put me in the corner. So.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. That's okay. Actually, this was our lounge yesterday. So you're actually in the hot vibe
I
spot.
took it over. Yeah. So.
Nice. Okay.
So I'm glad you came over and get a chance to talk to you. Try to make sure we let everybody who's not able to come kind of come vicariously through the internet, right?
That's right. Live streaming. That's the best thing, right?
Let's see, we have a son there from Virginia Beach, Virginia. Thank you so much for being on. And tell us about Rockstar Marketing. What service do you offer?
Well, as a result of our marketing efforts, we are the top content marketing agency serving the auto repair industry, and we tell the stories of all the shops, and we help create a buzz that makes people fall in love with them. The ideal clients go find them because of it. So, and I'm so excited. I taught 2 classes this weekend, and it's just so great to be amongst our brothers and sisters in the industry and light some light bulbs and get together and share some ideas and make our businesses better. It's just super fun.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. It's like we've already said several times here. A lot of shop owners need to understand that you can't just sit complacently by and expect the customer to find you, right? You've got to make yourself available to be found.
So true. And there's a lot of stuff going on in our world right now. A lot of people assume that those that are successful because somebody else made them successful. But I found out a really interesting statistic that I shared in my class. 90% of the new American billionaires in this country are self-made.
Wow.
And how did they do it? 2 things. 1, they set really clear goals. And 2, took action. And if they can do it, you can do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's what's really kind of cool about ATE is you get to awash yourself in all this good energy and learning and positive mindset of like, yes, I can do this. Yes, I can do that. And it just feels good knowing that, we're back in the game. I think COVID and other challenges, but especially the last couple of years with the pandemic, we've been kind of feeling like we're islands.
Yeah.
But no, we're not alone. We're actually all this together. And if we band together, we're going to feel better about everything.
Yeah, I think you bring up several good points that I want to kind of expand on a little bit. The one you mentioned about is like when you come to an event like this, you go to a class like yours, and you're in a room with like-minded people, right? And it's unfortunate, especially if you're a new shop owner, you put it out there, you're trying to build your business, you have a passion for it.
Yeah.
And then you get all these naysayers going like, oh, you're going to fail. Oh, you're going to lose everything. Oh, you have all those little peckers at you, right? Just
right. And even our own self-talk. Can I really do this?
Sure. You always have that sense of self-talk.
Do I really have the ability to do this?
Right. Well, the one is you can build the ability by attending classes like hers.
For sure.
And the other event, like I said, we've talked about training here a lot earlier, that you can go to online training, you can rent the DVD, but if you're not in the room filled with people who are going after the same thing you are, facing the same challenges you are, and able to network with those individuals to help pull you up when you're not doing so good, you know.
Well, even like going to lunch or breakfast and you're sitting with new people.
Yeah.
You're finding that you're just not alone, right? So is it okay to like share some advice?
Please.
Can I share some of stuff what we talked about in my class? I hope you don't mind. So check this out. I was teaching 2 classes this weekend. One is called the 3 M's: money, mindset, and mastering your revenues. And it's really all about the self-talk. It's like, what are we saying to ourselves, right? And and the other class, by the way, is your internal marketing as good as your external marketing? And so we worked a lot about what is our why? And you can indeed have an ELF business. An ELF business is an easy, lucrative, and fun business. But most people are like, are you sure, Jen? Are you lying to me? Your nose is growing, right? But when we get things dialed in and we figure out the combination of what it is that makes our business successful, and part of it is, if you're a new shop owner, and even if you are a seasoned shop owner or a manager, or you're just growing in the business and you want to expand your career, first off, figure out what makes you special and unique, right? And then figure out, what is my why? Because we all started this thing because we thought it would be cool and fun and easy and lucrative.
Right.
Right? But then there are challenges, and then we're like, really? I gotta get out of bed today. Right? But there's that why, whatever that is, that gets us out of bed. Right? So if you can figure out what your why is, and if you can really zero in on what makes you special and unique, you can then tell that to your ideal clients. Not the ones that are tire kickers,
right,
that are only judging you on price.
Right.
Right? Because you can lower your prices down to being out of business.
You betcha.
Right? So you want to find your tribe that just tosses those keys lovingly to you, saying, I love you, take care of me. And you do so because these are your people.
Yeah.
And then, please, 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 once you've figured out what makes you special and unique and what your why is, share that with your team so everyone's on the same page and you're all pulling in the same direction versus a tug of war against each other.
Yeah. You have some really great wisdom to share. I got to thank you so much for coming over.
Oh, my pleasure.
And I got to, I because being in the field for so long and working for a variety of shops, from the chains to the independents to dealers, it always seems to be the same. A lot of shops, and maybe you're one of them, you're treating your techs like they're just another cog in the machine, and you're not making them part of that you're not getting to pull in your direction, not sharing your vision with them. Or maybe you're at the point where you're just going through, you're in a rut, you're going through the grind, you're going day to day. It's very easy to fall into that, right?
Very.
So like she's like, you got to get up in the morning, know why you're doing what you're doing, have that goal, know what you're trying to achieve, go to that next level, and if they want your help, where do they go to find you?
Oh, well, you're welcome to find me. Just Google Rockstar Marketing. But you know what? Honestly, the best way to find me, because believe it or not, there are other Rockstar Marketings in the planet.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I know. I've had multiple times, like, people are like, this isn't your website. I'm like, yeah, you're right. It isn't my website. So I'm going to give everyone on the live stream a shortcut to find me. JenniferFilzen.com. Let me spell that for you.
Please.
JenniFer, and my last name Filzen. F as in Fred, IL, Z as in zebra, EN. Now that's like, oh, what is she doing with that? Well, yeah, I own Rockstar Marketing, but I also teach dance. I've also authored a few books.
Oh.
And I have podcasts.
I got a Rockstar run.
Yeah, you really do. I'm a Grammy qualified, bona fide certified rock star.
Wow.
I'm still collecting royalty checks off my one hit wonder. You want to know how big my royalty check was this quarter?
Oh, tell me.
$12. But hey,
it's
at least
bucks.
I'm still making my money.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's awesome.
But if this middle-aged gal from the suburbs can do it, imagine what we can do for your business. Yeah. So we are ultimately the storytellers.
Awesome.
And
we
help people reach their next $1 million in revenue. So if you ever need help, I'm your sister in support. A lot of times people will just reach out to me because I value relationship over transaction. And I teach that in my classes. Make friends, find mentors, share ideas, and then you will find those who should be your partners in helping you grow your business.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Jennifer, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I love it. That was fun, huh?
Yeah.
Have fun watching. You've got a good leader here. And make sure you come next year. I think they've already got their dates picked.
I hope so. Yes, they do.
They did, yeah. So here we go.
Just disconnect.
Ta-da. Ta-da. That was so fun.
All right, Jennifer, thank you so much.
No. So do you want me to send Brenda over still?
Just tell her, tell Brenda I need bodies.
Okay, well, I'll be your, I know if Dave got me, then I can be the Pied Piper sending people over.
Sure.
Do you want vendors or do you want just random people?
If someone that you've run into any of the attendees and want to come and share their stories, I'd love to talk to them. I know a few of the instructors I've asked to stop by, and of course, right now we're kind of in the dinner hour. People are getting out of class, people getting something to eat, so we're in the early stages yet. But Jennifer's on it. She's on it for me, so
here we go.
she's off and running. Uh, okay, so yeah, Jimmy, yeah, thanks so much for checking in. And like I said, I certainly don't expect anyone to hang out with me for the entire 4 hours. Feel free to come in and out as you have the opportunity. And if you want to kind of hit the different spots in here on the recorded version, that's fine. I tell you what, we're getting some really good information. I may just have to spend the time to cut this up and have it available to you in little bite-sized portions, right? So I hope that I can get the time to do that for you. If I get a little luck, I'll get some people on my side working for me to help me with all of that. So yes, like I said, again, here we are coming again to you live from the Automotive Training Expo, ATE, hosted by the Northwest Auto Care Alliance, otherwise known as NWACA, NWACA. And we are at the Doubletree SeaTac in Seattle, Washington. It is day 2, I think? Day 2? Yes. It's so busy, man. It's just like we're just wide open. And you just lose track of all time. Just busy. Hey, there's a point I want to make too with the marketing talk that we just had. You can know your whys. You can, paint a great picture of how great you are, but you got to back it up. You got to back it up with your training. You got to back it up with your repair side. If you're a shop that's swapping parts, hoping you fix the problem, then you can do all you want to, making people look you're great, and it's not going to stick. It's a whole package, right? But like we said earlier, training goes hand in hand. And I have a new guest waiting in the wings, so we'll bring her on. Come on in. Yes. I was. Yes, we're gonna give you a mic.
Okay.
And get you wired up there. All you have to do is just pin that anywhere you want.
Okay.
And I was really hoping that I would get to you guys.
Oh, good.
Because before we start, introduce yourself, who you're with.
Oh, okay. My name is Christina Jenkins. I'm with Siriusxm Radio, and I'm here promoting our new shops program.
Yeah, and that's why I was excited, because I saw you guys at the event in North Carolina.
Yep.
Last
we were
year,
at Visions. Yep.
ASDE.
Oh, yeah, we were there too. Yep.
Yeah. In fact, we had a short, I think, a little video thing there. I can't remember the young lady's name.
Amy she is our director. She's our regional
so
director.
She had to be the visual that time around.
Yep.
But
I'm sure she was.
Guys, you guys have got to listen to this, especially you shop owners, because this deal is phenomenal, right? So I'm gonna let Christina.
Yep.
I should remember that's my wife's name, so I should remember that. Okay.
I'm sure she's a fine young lady.
So we're gonna go ahead and let Christina tell you what Siriusxm is offering to your customers and to you.
That's right. So it's a beautiful program. It's kind of a sister program to what we do with dealers. We've been giving free Siriusxm when you buy a new car. We've been doing that for a lot of years, since 2004. So you can imagine there are a lot of vehicles on the road, have our system in it, but it's not on. So how do we reach those people? So we started Siriusxm Service Lane for shops, and it's very simple. It's free. There's never any money involved. It doesn't cost a shop anything at all. Doesn't cost a customer anything at all. It's very simple. The way that it works is a vehicle will come in, the shop will service that vehicle just like they always do. They don't have to know anything about radios or anything like that. That customer is going to leave the shop. About a week later, they're going to get a package in the mail. It's going to say, thanks for coming to Pete's Auto Garage to service your Infiniti, for an example. As a reward for your loyalty to our shop, please enjoy 3 months for your Siriusxm. Totally free. Costs nothing. We are not taking credit cards for this program. There are no automatic renewals.
Wow.
At the bottom of the package, the shop is mentioned again. It'll say, thanks again from Pete's Auto Care. We appreciate your business. Enjoy your rock and ride.
Wow.
They have it for 3 months. It's an all-access package. That means 160 channels. They get the live stream app and just about everything we have to offer, right? And it goes on for 3 months. At the end of the 3-month period, it's just going to turn off and our phone number is going to be there. We have already enrolled approximately 10,000 shops. I cover the state of Florida.
My home state.
There you go.
There we go.
I cover Florida. We've enrolled a lot of shops there. They love it. They're getting a ton of repeat business. People love Siriusxm. They don't like to pay for it so much.
Yeah.
Right? So they almost look for ways to get their Siriusxm. So it's been really beneficial for everybody.
Now, if a consumer gets that first one, can they get a second one or a third one?
So there's a time lapse.
Okay.
There's a time lapse. So if you've had a free package within a year, you're probably not going to get another one.
Sure.
But after that, yeah. So, you know, if you go and you get something serviced on your vehicle at Pete's Auto Care, and you get the free package. If you wait a year and get something else done at Pete's, you're going to get another package.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So I want to make sure you understand that, because I want to show you guys heard this. If you're a shop owner and you're looking for an incentive program that you can offer your customers, that's not going to cost you a dime, right?
That's right.
Cost
Not
you
a
nothing.
dime. Never.
It's going to help you reward your customers. You follow up after your sale, after that repair. Give them something that it's going to be your branding on it, and in partnership with Siriusxm, and it's not going to cost your customer a dime to access that 3 months free service. And like you just pointed out very, very strongly, a lot of these streaming channels, you probably have more at least one, if not more than one, and they get that credit card information from you, that free trial, and then it goes into automatic renewal, and you don't think about it.
That's right.
And
they're not
doing this.
So shop owners won't let us. That was a deal breaker, right?
Yeah.
We can't do that. So we're not doing that for this program. There is no credit card required. As a matter of fact, they can either call the phone number and the satellite will turn everything on for them, or there's a link. They don't even have to talk to a person, much less give a credit card. So it's just a great way for us to get radios turned on.
Sure.
And it's a great way for shops to get repeat business.
Sure. With so many vehicles that have the Siriusxm function on there,
you would
like
be surprised
that they don't keep them going.
Yeah.
Here's the chance for you to
That's right.
So it's a win-win.
It's a win-win, and we are pretty much in all makes and models. And like I said, if you think, we've been doing it since 2004. So the majority of the vehicles coming through these shops have Siriusxm capability.
Wow.
So what better gift to give them than to let them listen for 3 months?
Yeah.
Especially like the people who bought their car used, right? Or they bought it from Uncle Joe down the street. Or maybe they got the free trial when they bought their new car, and then they just never did anything else with it, right?
Yeah.
And so now this is just an opportunity for them to see everything we have now. You know, we always add new stuff to our platform.
Awesome. Awesome. Yep. And if they want to find out about it, where do they have to go?
They have to come to booth 19 and see me if they're here, or you can go to SiriusXM4shops.com.
What's that? SiriusXM
for shops, FOR, shops.com. And you can enroll. There's a place that says enroll my shop, and then you can always reach out to any of us, and we'll help you. We've got 13 reps strategically throughout the country. Here in Washington, we've got Jonathan Gross. He's here with me today. So he covers this area with Oregon. So we've got everybody out on the roads, and we're there to help you if you need it.
Awesome. Awesome.
All right.
Thank you so much, Christina.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You taking the time.
Thank you.
You just unplug yourself before you go
I
on.
can. Well, I think I can.
There
we go.
I think I can. Thank you, Christina. All right. So, I mean, I'm really kind of getting excited about this, because now we got to talk to just a few of the trade show vendors that are out here. And again, what's nice, I wish I could show you the shot that behind me there, as I'm watching the trade show floor, and I'm watching some of the attendees going to the different booths, finding out what these various companies have to offer in terms of service. And yeah, I mean, this will give you a chance to talk to these people up front and personal. You know, we've got like some of the major parts houses here. Advance is out here. AutoZone is out here. NAPA is out here. Some of the a lot of companies here that offer help to shop owners. Training companies. I see Electude was here, which makes training materials or training aids for educators. Just so many different things, resources that you may not even knew existed are available when you come out to some of these events and check them out for yourself. All right, so here we go. I've got again 8 p.m. Eastern. What is that? 5 p.m. Pacific. Got to keep my math right. And again, coming to you live from the ATE Automotive Trading Expo. and put on my Northwest Auto Care Alliance and at the trade show live. Right? So I'm still going to wait for my NWACA help to dig me up some new guests. And while we're waiting on that, if you have any questions that you want to put in, feel free. If you have anything that you want to say, now's your time to do it. And I do appreciate those of you who joined me online. I know there's probably better things to watch on Netflix and Amazon Prime. So you're hanging out with me. I appreciate that more than you know. Let's see. What else can we tap on while we're waiting? I got one. Here's a question for you. Those of you who are watching, are you calibrating ADAS systems, advanced driver assist systems? Are you calibrating these in your shop? If you're watching, throw it in the chat wherever you're watching. Now, if you're in LinkedIn, I think I can see the chat on LinkedIn. I don't think I can respond to it though, or I may not be able to see it on LinkedIn. They are fairly new to allowing this type of stream. I can get on, you can see me, you can hear me, but I can't always catch the chat that might be going on there. But if you're watching anywhere else, any of our YouTube channels, any of our Facebook channels, then you can type in the chat and share your information, your comments, your questions with me here at the show. So again, the question I'm asking you guys is, are you doing ADAS, Advanced Driver Assist Systems calibrations? And if you're not sure what I mean by that, these are the systems on your customers' vehicles that have been there for some time now. Actually, systems like anti-lock braking, traction control, these are all considered part of the advanced driver systems, but that term really didn't become coined until we started getting into systems using cameras and radar to allow the vehicle to, for lack of a better word, to see the world around it. And this started off with things like rear collision avoidance, where the car would start yelling at you if you were getting too close, and lane departure warnings, blind spot monitoring, all these kind of things are using, again, the camera and radar systems on these vehicles. And if you're a collision tech, then this is something you guys had to deal with almost immediately, because you're rebuilding cars brand new that have these systems on them. So you're probably one of the first ones to become exposed to the need for calibration. But the reason I like to bring this up is because it's often misunderstood in what really is needed when it comes to these calibrations, or when they need to be performed. Some people are under the impression that calibrations only have to be performed when you've done something to that unit, or you replace that radar head or that camera assembly, and that's simply not true. When you are dealing with ADAS systems, anything, and let me back up a step so I can make this really, really clear. And you need to understand this. If you're a technician or shop owner, you really need to understand this, because this could leave you open to some huge liabilities if you don't listen to what I'm getting ready to tell you. These systems, when they're correctly installed and they're correctly calibrated, are set so that the vehicle, again, for lack of a better word, is looking in a very precise direction. Very precise direction, precise angle, precise distance, precise center line, all of that, very precisely. It's like going to the eye doctor and getting yourself a new pair of glasses, and you got perfect 20/20 vision. And then somebody skews your glasses on their face, or you end up with somebody else's glasses, and now you don't see so well. Anything at all that you do that changes the way that vehicle sees the world around it is going to require some type of calibration, and sometimes to more than one system. This means that if you do a wheel alignment, if you change tires, if you do front suspension or steering work, if you have to remove a front forward-facing radar unit as part of your replacing a radiator or AC condenser, you can't just bolt the unit back on and expect it to be right, because it's not going to be. It's not going to be in the exact same place that it was prior to you taking it off. Are you with me? You understand what I'm trying to tell you here? And I realize that for many of you, getting the equipment to be able to perform these calibrations or meeting the space requirements, these procedures have to be done correctly. I see way too many times where images are shared online of people doing these calibration shops, technicians doing these calibrations in circumstances where it just can't be done correctly under those circumstances. Yes, you may get a message on your scan tool that says that the assembly calibrated, but that doesn't mean that it's looking where it's supposed to. And even just 1 degree off can mean the difference between a collision avoidance system that's going to function correctly or one that's not going to function correctly. Why am I making a big deal out of this? First, if you don't, and it comes back to you, then you can be on the hook for a liability. And not just the shop owner. If your tech understands something, if you're a technician, you can be listed on that lawsuit too. You may not think so, but it's happened more than once. You could be held personally responsible for performing an incomplete or incorrect repair. And these are considered assist systems, safety-related systems. You need to know what you're doing before you tackle these things. Ignorance is not going to save you from being on the wrong end of a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. So why do I bring that up again? Again, where are we at? We're at one of the nation's premier training events. There are a number of them around the country. AT is certainly one of them. Vision is probably the model training event that we all try to emulate. TST's big event up in the Northeast is a tremendous event. I know there's one coming up this fall in Pennsylvania at the newly formed Mid-Atlantic Auto Care Alliance called Super Saturday. That's going to be coming up. They believe outside in the Philadelphia area. I want to say that the folks down in NWACA, Florida, are going to be hosting a similar event. So you have opportunities. And again, I understand that cost is a factor. Certainly not trying to detract from that in the least little bit. But I do want you to remember that training is an investment. And if you're one of those techs, like I said earlier, that is working for a shop that doesn't support training, doesn't believe in training, and you're one a guy or gal that understands why you need to keep up with your continuing education, then find another shop, because they're out there, they're here. You can find them here. You can find them at Vision. You can find them at any of these training events, and I'm sure they'd love to add you to their team. So we have a comment from one of the viewers out there about our ADAS. I guess he works at a Lexus dealer, calibrating it with TechStream. Yes, he used the factory scan tool. But and to that individual who made that comment, I invite you to share your experience being at a dealer. It's not just using the right tool, but it's how you set the targets up, the environment that the targets are in. I know that a lot of tools are being made now to kind of help offset as far as how level the floor is, but all of these are factors that you have to take into consideration. So I invite you to chime in, add your comments from your own experiences. I'd love to be able to share them with everybody else who's watching. Yeah, so it's not just plugging in a scan tool and hitting the button to calibrate. You've got to have everything set up properly so that when you do train that camera or that radar, that you are having it look in exactly the same spot it was looking at when it left the factory. Okay, that's the bottom line. It's got to be looking at exactly the same spot it looked at when it left the factory. Anything, even a small version short of that, is going to cause your customer problems. Here's an example. Let's just say that You have that forward-facing radar, you bolted it back on, but now it's looking a 1 degree down angle from what it was before. Well, I think, I forget what the number is, but like at 400 feet, that shortens the distance to, I don't know, say 300 feet. So you're not going to pick up that vehicle in front of you as soon as you would normally. You with me? And that could be the difference. That 1 second or two could be the difference between having that system successfully avoid a collision and one that won't. You with me? And if that were to happen, let's just say that were to happen, that lawyer is going to go back and look at all the work that's been done in that vehicle. And when it sees that you were the last one on there messing with that forward-facing radar, they're going to take a close look at exactly what you did. And if you're not doing it the way it's supposed to be done, it's end of story, dude. I mean, that's just, you just have to be aware of that. That's all I'm trying to do here with that. It's to make you aware. All right. So I can see my boy over there, Mr. Trulia. I don't know if I can flag him down and get him over here. We could probably spend some time talking to him. He's actually talking to the lady that I'm trying to know to get me to bring me some help. There's another one. Oh. I don't know if I can get her attention from here. Let's see what I can do. All right. I'll tell you what, I really hate to do this, but I'm going to get off camera for just a minute. I'll leave the mic on so you can hear me, okay? We're going to go. I'm going to see if I can go grab my guy and talk to, maybe I can grab Brenda too, all right? So I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. You're leaving. I'm live. I'm live. You're leaving me hanging because I got nobody to get. I'm live. I'm going to grab this guy. I'm going to grab you.
You got to come in and talk about this great event.
Let's talk about this great event. We're going to bring her in. We're going to get her in front of the camera.
Got to corral her up.
Can we give her a drink first?
Hello, just one of the seats that's on the camera.
Come on in. Anywhere on the couch, or you can sit in the chair wherever you're comfortable. I know in that I sank. So, yeah, we're all in there. So we'll give you that. Just put that anywhere you want, and we'll just set that down beside you. Right side button, hold it down on the front. On the front, right to the bottom right of the window.
Bottom right of the window.
Oh, give it here.
Oh, give me the thing.
Just give me the thing. All right, we'll push that in.
Which one are you pressing?
There you go. The one on the.
Oh,
now
that's not bottom, it's side.
Close enough.
Silly you.
All right.
You think I never will?
This is the first.
Yeah,
Come on in.
Come on in.
No, get in here.
Come on in.
No, get in
You can't eat on the camera, but if you want to eat first, come back.
No eating on the set.
Yeah, right.
This is like Kramer's set. You ever watch Seinfeld? It's Kramer's set.
Oh. See, I succeeded. Now everybody's watching. I appreciate your patience and waiting on me. And go back to what we were talking about earlier from my friend there at the Lexus dealer. And I want to put this up to highlight that and to clue you in, Jerry. What we've been talking about here is ADAS here for the last couple minutes. And here's a Texas tech at a Lexus dealer. And if you're again new to the subject we were talking about, I want you to read that comment and let me read it out to you. We have to measure the distance and level the sensor. Afterwards, another tech comes back to double check. So they're absolutely making sure that this is in the right place in order to do that calibration. Like we said, if you don't have that thing looking exactly where let the factory, it's not right. It's wrong, and it's going to cause a problem. And this is the other point I like what it says here. Only certified techs are allowed to make the repairs. Only certified techs at this dealership are allowed to make those repairs. So that's how important they're taking it. You need to take it just as important. So let me go ahead and pull that back off again. Thank you so much, Short Circuits. I like that. I like that tag name there, Short Circuits, right? So anyway, this is probably one of the highlights of the evening, I got to say. Brenda, I don't get the last name wrong.
Wolfslegel.
What's that?
Wolfslegel.
Wolfslegel. Okay.
Yes.
So, and Brenda is the
I was afraid
executive.
to pronounce that in the class. Brenda, you know, the lady who does
Let's
everything.
use
Yeah,
Brenda.
we just use Brenda.
Brenda is the executive director for the Northwest Auto Care Alliance and the driving force behind Automotive Training Expo, along with a fantastic team of volunteers.
It takes a team, and our volunteers are the best.
Yeah, and they've done a tremendous job. You got a great event going on here. And I mean, after 2 years, I guess you're really glad to be able to do it again.
We are very excited to be back, and that is what we're getting from all the attendees and the exhibitors. They're all excited to be back.
Yep. And then over here, of course, if you've been following us for any length of time, our friends Jerry Trulia from TST, and of course, the president of ATTS, Automotive Technician Training Services. I just say ATTS.
Yeah, it's easier.
Yeah, so it's good to have you with me too.
Well, always a pleasure, Pete. And this event that Brenda put on, really one good event. My first time out here teaching.
Is it?
Yeah, I've never been out here.
Okay.
Well, unfortunately, because of hotels, sometimes we fall on each other.
Yeah.
Which it's very difficult. When setting one of these up, any type of event, it's very difficult to pick certain days.
It is.
But we try our best not to go on someone else's event. But what are you going to do? It happens.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But I mean, you had a full house this afternoon in your class.
Yes, he did.
A lot of guys out there.
A lot of good people in the class. A lot of people from all over, instructors. But it seems like this is a different group. And I haven't taught out here in years, but this is a different group that comes out. You know, you have a geographical area where people feel comfortable coming here that may not go. Very few people went to Vision, and Vision is a great show, but very few of them. I did a little survey, and of course, we don't want to really tell you this, but not many people read my articles. No, you know, they don't. Most people didn't read it. You read any of the magazines. They all know me from either YouTube or videos we do or one of my videos.
Right.
It seems like media stuff is more what people want.
And that's really a good point, G, because it's like, of course, if you want to find out, TST Seminars is the name of the channel on YouTube. I invite you to check that out. He's got some archived stuff on there from what I call anyway, the circuit ride that the TST does, or Technician Service Training. It's a nonprofit. We'll kind of focus on Brenda for a little bit, but I'd like to talk more about that with you to let folks know. So let's go kind of back up a step and talk about ATE some more. So this was the first time in 2 years that you were able to put the show on, and it kind of just like now you're behind the wheel for this one.
She's steering the ship.
She's
the captain of the ship.
She's it. And how many, a rough guess, how many attendees do you have this year?
We have about 500 attendees attending the classes.
And that's really good. Post-pandemic, I mean.
That's very good.
You know, and I was even telling Brenda, you know, a lot of companies don't come out because of COVID. They have travel restrictions, at least back my way, still in effect.
Yeah.
We had so many that paid us, just said, you can have the money, but we can't send people out.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's.
And the lineup of instructors that you have is awesome. I mean, I wouldn't get
very
this
impressive.
Afternoon just taking a few pictures and put it up on our Facebook. The Motor Race Facebook, and I mean, you got like, of course, this gentleman here, Eric Ziegler.
We were super excited to have G come out and join us this year.
Yeah,
well, thank you.
Yeah,
I was excited to come out.
Yeah, so that's really good. That's really good. And I want to get some of the board members out earlier, making scramble them up, and we'll talk in more detail about NWACA.
Perfect. I would love to introduce everyone to Mark Simons, our chairman of the board. We have Todd Ainsworth, our secretary, is here. Candy Jennings-Malloy, our chairman-elect, is here. We have a lot of our board members here.
Awesome. Yeah, we'd love to get a chance to bring some of the lower.
And you could see these people really work as a crew.
Yeah.
She's the captain, but the crew really does good work, and that's important. You know.
And again, something that's kind of been going already in this short span that's coming up again and again and again is these board members are shop owners themselves.
They are.
Right. These are NWACA members themselves, and this is a nonprofit organization.
It's a nonprofit organization, but our shop owners are our volunteers, and we could not do this without them.
Right.
We have about 30 volunteers that help us put this show
Wow,
together.
God bless.
And remember we said earlier about the as mentioned again, I'll beat a dead horse, but you mentioned about your shop owner not supporting your training. Well, there they are. They're here. They're doing even more than that. They're taking that extra load to make sure that not only does their shop benefit, but other shops in their region benefit as well.
And Pete, a lot of guys that were in my class, they closed their whole shop down to come.
Yeah.
They brought all their people, which is the way to go.
Yeah, and I'm sure that some of you are watching are not believing this. Don't think that exists, but that's the world that we have today. There are many shop owners that understand the need to keep up with these technologies. Like we said, in fact, as Gary pointed out in his keynote, it's not that we have technologies that we have to face, but we've been doing that forever. It's just how fast they're coming at us that we have to keep up.
It's banging you over the head every time you turn your head. I was just giving SAE a plug today since I've been away the past couple of weeks, but I seen AE come in, Automotive Engineering, and I told these guys, the information that is coming out at this rapid pace, you got to stay up to date. You'll fall behind like this.
Oh yeah,
it's that quick.
Absolutely. Now, I know that this is the big event,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not the only training resource you offer your members, is it?
No, we also offer ATE East, and we offer on a quarterly basis like day trainings throughout our different regions because we have Alaska,
Wow.
we have Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Montana. We're moving into Wyoming, and we're moving into Nevada.
Wow.
And let's not forget, you do a lunch series every once in a while as well, right?
Yes.
With management and everything else.
2 lunch and learns a month.
Yeah.
So those are free to our members.
Yeah. And so, if you're a shop owner in those states, you need to take advantage of that because these are some great, and that's not the only resource. And we'll talk about that more when the board members are about all the things that you offer.
Yes,
I got a question for Brenda. The lunch and learn, do you archive them for your members?
We do.
Good.
Yep.
So another reason to become a member, you can go there and see a lot of stuff that you most likely missed.
And ATE East is going to be held where?
That is going to be held in Spokane. That is the end of September. I'm sorry, the end of September, 1st of October.
It's the end of the month in September.
Yep.
And that's good timing because it's not shortly after that in October. That's the Super Saturday that the newly formed Mid-Atlantic Auto Care Alliance is going to be available for those on the.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Ron picked a date for Super Saturday yet. At least
I think they're
not
close.
that I know.
Yeah, I know they have a tentative date or something. And
then,
he
has a tentative date? Yeah, I have to call Ron back. I don't know.
We decided on that date, and we're going to try to continue with that date as well because then we're not on top of Ratchet and Wrench either.
Right.
So that we can support them.
Right, and then you're on next year for this one is what
March 31st through February 2nd.
Oh, you mean April 2nd?
I'm sorry, yes, April 2nd.
Lucky
lucky
someone's paying attention.
We got your back. No, Brent, again, you've done a fantastic job. This is a great event. I mean, a lot of great vendors, a lot of great instructors teaching. It looked like a lot of classes that were really interactive and students were involved. You know, you got to be proud of that. And you got to give those volunteers a pat on the back. I know you have plenty to do, so I won't keep you any longer. But you can get your volunteers to feed us guests, and we'll keep our going. We've had a few of the folks up in the booths.
I think she's pulling over one of her main members.
Calling over one of them.
Yep.
Yes,
so
I was talking to him earlier. All right, no, don't stand in front of the camera. You got to come over here and take her mic.
This is.
You got to hide the bar.
There you go. So thank you, Pete.
Oh, my pleasure. I appreciate you saying a few times.
Thank you, G. I'm going
Always
to
a
exit
pleasure.
out
Thank
for
you.
a few and let Mike take over.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Keep the good work up.
Before we get into Micah here, I'm going to go back to my friend G, because as G commented, and I shared with you earlier, okay, we have a nice comment from our buddy Short Circuits. Thanks, Mr. G, for an awesome style of teaching. I learned learn so much. He certainly has an excellent, hell of a style of teaching. I'll tell you that. I love not only watching but working with him on our webcasts.
Well, thank you.
And we want to talk a little bit here about the TST big event, which was recently held.
Yes, probably 2 weeks ago now, right?
Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
A couple of weeks ago. And, unfortunately, a good turnout for what we were allowed to actually have out.
Right.
Our format's a little different with one room with 3 great instructors. People get the feel for what everyone else is thinking, because when you leave, you go, hey, I heard this guy say, Micah say this or that. And of course, everyone shares the same experience.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that part of it's good. We're so happy that our vendors, we gave away $33,000 some odd dollars worth of tools and equipment and prize money. That thanks to our sponsors, that's what really helps, and keep the price affordable.
Yeah.
Because we do realize that training is expensive, but you know what? Training doesn't cost; it really pays itself in the long run.
Right.
Think about, one guy said that to me today, and I've been tooting this for years, but he said, imagine having a guy working for you that is not trained. He's going to mess stuff up, and then you got to babysit him. Your good tech is going to be with this guy to try to help him out or fix his mistakes. So, we got to get
Come
her
on
in.
down.
Okay. Come on in.
I got another mic.
Have a seat. Any seat.
They can't now.
She's got a drink. We can just plug that anywhere you want.
But
And
we could talk more about that later, because they got a couple of more board members or members
Yeah.
that Brenda, why don't you ask him? I'll move out of the way and then I'll come back. So Pete and everyone, I'll see you in a little bit.
Yeah, so we'll bring G back a little bit later.
Come on,
We'll
Jim.
get some of the board guys.
Have a seat.
Come on in.
Have a seat. We're not going to say that you have a purse or anything.
Oh, he's not a board member. He's not a board member.
He's not a board member.
What do you want me to do?
He's a volunteer.
Go down and yak with them.
So where are you from anyway?
I'm from New York.
I know
He's
that.
my
Clip it
husband.
anywhere.
That's my
Originally from
husband.
the Bronx.
Oh,
He's
okay.
moral
I'm from
support.
Long Island.
There we go.
Hold that
Bring him in for moral support.
Somebody told me you were from Brooklyn.
It's like
that's
challenge
true.
with the mic
Can they
there.
hear us right now?
There we go.
They're listening right now.
Oh,
Why
great.
am I sitting?
All right. So, slight change of gear here as my friend G goes wandering through the trade show, shaking hands and kissing babies, as we say. Thank you so much for coming and sitting with us. I don't know if you saw the stream that we did this morning, but we sent out Gary's keynote to our audience online. And now we're doing this from the trade show for the next few hours, kind of talking to some of the exhibitors and try to get some of the trainers over here. Maybe we'd get a few volunteers from your attendees and sweet talk them or something.
Sure.
I'll leave that up to you guys.
Use the candy bars.
Yeah, use the candy bars, right? So anyway, if you would, for the audience benefit, name and your position with NWACA, we'll do that first.
I'm Micah Strom, and I am the Olympic Peninsula chapter president and also a collision chair on the board.
Okay.
And I'm Candy Jennings Malloy. I am the Northwest ACA chairperson elect.
I'm Jim Malloy. I'm Candy's husband and supporter.
Moral support, right? And I want to stress too, because we said this earlier, but not only, I mean, you guys are on the board and volunteering to pull this event off, helping Brenda make this happen, which is, I want to applaud you all for pulling off a really great event. It looks fantastic. I'm sure it's going to be one to put in the record books for success and something to model yourselves after going forward with ATE East coming up in the fall.
Yeah.
But you're also business owners, right? So, Michael, what's your business?
It's modern collision rebuild. It's collision repair. We also have a mechanical division. We have hybrid electric and rental cars, as well as a detail shop.
So that's quite a spectrum.
We're on an island, so we kind of fill all. We bring a car and we take care of everything at one time.
Wow. And Candy?
I own Tom's Automotive in West Seattle, and we service and repair cars, trucks, and SUVs.
Wow. All right, fantastic. And again, so this is just adding on to what I'm sure is already a pretty heavy workload as a business owner, right? And you must believe in what we're trying to get shop owners around the country to believe in, the need for training.
Training, absolutely.
So give me some of your opinions on, we'll start with you, Candy, ladies first. Why do you think so much about training?
AT is amazing. We shut the shop down, the whole shop comes, and it also builds camaraderie between team members, but it helps us to grow and to learn. And then we also are able to look at equipment. Like currently today, we're looking at software programs. It keeps us on the cusp and on our toes so that we can be our very best.
Now, but before you got involved with AT and the training end of it, what were your experiences prior? Did you notice a change or impact on your business's operation from keeping your guys and gals up to speed versus before you had a program in place? Or did you always
We've been doing this for a long time, since we were before we were Northwest ACA, back into the days when Pete Hunt was in our leader, so to speak. And very early on, I purchased the shop from Tom Smith. It's very dear to me, my mentor. And the value that we got from being members of an association like Northwest ACA was huge, because it taught you the things that you need to be a successful business owner, and how to treat your team, and how to allow them to grow to become better people in general, not necessarily just in business, but in life.
Yeah.
And events like this allow us to go to training to learn how to better ourselves for everybody around us.
Yeah.
It makes us all better and stronger.
Yeah. So, like, I think Jennifer from Rocket Marketing was talking about earlier, about having the why. Why do you get wanting to run your business? What are you sharing that your vision with? And I love the fact you call them your team, not your employees. That they're an integral part of helping you succeed. Their success is your success, and helping them with the training arm certainly is part of that.
I couldn't do it without them.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to be there without them.
Awesome. Michael, what about you? What are your experiences?
The fact that you can come here and you can get the variety of training, you can send your whole team, that there's something here for them, is important. Versus, if you have one training event somewhere, you send one tech off. But I can send the whole shop, at least the mechanical side, to this event, and everybody has something. And it's all weekend, not just one class.
Yeah.
You go. It's 3 days of classes they could take.
Yeah, but that's not all. I mean, certainly this is like the forward-facing image for NWACA, right? But that's not all that NWACA is, right?
We have an apprenticeship program that is amazing, that we need to spread the word about, because most members, I don't think, even recognize the apprenticeship program that we have. We need to get people into our industry, and Butch Jobs had a vision that we would create an apprenticeship program, and we have that now. It's called ITAC.
Is that through NWACA?
It's through NWACA.
Uh-huh.
It's called ITAC. It's the Independent Technicians Education Coalition. And here tonight, actually, Pit Crew Marketing. Everybody go visit Pit Crew. Scan their little thing, because they're raising money for ITAC. But we need shops to get involved to become training agents. We need shops to get involved to go to schools, to talk to middle schools, high schools, to spread the word, to be proud about being in the automotive industry that's been so good to all of us.
And what was that? What's that?
We're live streaming. You're on TV.
Oh, you're on TV.
Hi, Rita.
I'll highlight it for you if you come back later and tell me how you like the event.
We're going to put you up here next.
You're next.
You got it.
Oh, yes.
You can tell us live.
It's not Memorex, right?
NWACA really wants to offer a lot of benefits to their members that gives them value, and it's not even just that; it's the friendships and the relationships that you gain through being part of NWACA.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm gonna just give me a second here to take care of. Somebody's putting things on here that I don't want on here.
Good thing you know.
It's amazing when people will find you online and like to put stuff on there that you don't want on there. Oh. All right. If you're watching and you saw that, I apologize. It was one of our YouTube channels, not sure which one, but we get that from time to time. People find there and they put these links to sites that we really don't want our viewers to. So no, don't send me emails about it. Okay, I didn't give you the link to some porn site. That's not what we do. Okay, we're here having a more intelligent discussion than that. So all right, back to what we say. I did see the booth for that, and I would love it if you could have one of them come over here and talk to me about it.
I will go get Wayne and have him come over here.
I would love that because we actually had the same thing at ASD in North Carolina. We interviewed their representative for a string by itself. Would love to do that with you guys to get that, help you get that word out.
It's an amazing program. We have a general service tech apprenticeship. We have a master service technician apprenticeship. We have a service advisor apprenticeship program, and we're also working on an RV apprenticeship program.
Wow.
So it's huge. And we need more people to get involved, to spread the word, and just really lift up our industry.
Yeah. And I like what you said, too, about as being a part of the association to give you the resources that you needed as a business to succeed. I think that's so important. It's something I'm preaching a lot lately to our audience because I think a lot of technicians who have those dreams, those aspirations, and you've seen them, we've all seen them, they're great techs. They can fix a car in their sleep, but they don't know the business. So when they do put out their shingle and they open up that door, 6 months later, they're in trouble because they didn't bother to get the training about the business side of it, right?
Yep.
So if you're a tech and you know how important it is to get trained on the technical side, you have that aspirations, you can get the training that you need to do the business side, be successful, like folks here with me right now, and using the same words they did by joining your local NWACA chapter, right? And like I said, you guys are covering. I think Brenda was telling us that, and tell me if I get it wrong. You basically before is just Washington and Oregon, right?
Oh, we've spread out now.
Oh, I know you have right now. Alaska.
It's Alaska,
Montana, Idaho,
Washington, Oregon, Idaho,
and Wyoming. I think.
No, we don't have Wyoming. No,
there was one other that I.
That's it. I think that's it.
Nebraska.
No, Nebraska.
No.
Well, maybe Brenda knows something you don't.
But you know, we're welcome to take more on.
There are at-large members though that can join from other states.
Yeah.
So
and the other thing with the Auto Care Alliance group that Sherry Hamilton spearheaded with the Midwest ACA, right? She's a tremendous lady in her own right.
She's amazing.
And the benefits that you guys provide to your members is probably a lot more than we can list during our live stream. But what's website they can go to find out about NWACA?
Well, we have our website, which is
NWACA.org.
That's easy enough, right?
Yeah.
Or NorthwestAutoCare.org. I think it's NorthwestAutoCare.org.
Yeah.
We're so new, I can't remember.
Can't remember that, right? Because this was a fairly recent change.
Yeah, it took effect January 1st.
So, just a few months. All getting used to it.
Yeah, it's all good, though. I mean, we have so much more to offer, and being part of ACA is going to give us even that much more that we can offer our members.
Yeah. So there's just so many benefits to you if you're a shop owner and you're in that area, or you want to consider it large, or you want to see if there's an ACA in your area, which there probably is now, the way it's been growing, then by all means check that out and see how they can be of help to you and help to your shop and help you grow that culture of professionalism and pride that these shop owners are obviously doing in theirs. And you have the same thing too. And again, I'm going to hit it again with you guys who are techs who told me before about, your boss isn't supporting your training, or, we've all worked for guys in shops that were, you don't have, it's a new market for you guys and gals. I don't want to leave the ladies out. Techs are in high demand. If you're a professional, if you consider yourself a professional, that you have that drive to continue your education, developing your skill sets, being the best that you can be, fixing it right the first time, learning how to do things the professional way, if you're not already, then there's a shop out there for you. You don't have to stay where you are. There's a home for you that is going to help you do exactly that, help you grow in your professionalism, and maybe reach a point where you can be your own business owner one day. Yep. Right? So I really appreciate y'all hanging out with me.
Oh, thank you. We'll go get Wayne to come over here for my tech and share some more about that apprenticeship program.
Any of the vendors that want to come over, if you see some of the trainers, tell them to head over my way. We'd like to share their experiences.
Well, thank you so much.
So thanks. I appreciate it.
We appreciate you being here.
Hopefully we get to help you get the word out and keep things going, right?
The cost savings and the benefits that we offer actually will pay for the membership itself.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And
again, it's an investment,
that's
right?
just that. And then you get all the networking with training events and all that to go along with it.
Well, that's a vital point. That we kind of we hit on a few times earlier, but we don't want to not keep hammering that home, because that's so critical to your success. Every business owner, I'm sure, I never had that spot myself, but I've talked to numerous owners around the country. They've all told me that stories where it's just like you just want to hang it up. You have those bad days. Nothing seems to go right, and then you can reach out to people you've met in your group and events like this that are now your support group, if you will, and say, hey, look, man, I need to talk to you. It's like, what would you do in a situation like this? And you can't.
It's a big part of it because every single day is different, right? You never know what you're going to run into in a shop. And it might be, wow, that was new. Who can I call? Have you experienced this? What would you do? Am I on the right track? I'm thinking this is what I should do. What do you think?
And if you've had some successes and something at work, you share it with your others, right?
For sure.
So it's all about taking care of one another, and that's what the Alliance is all about.
There's not another member who wouldn't stop what they're doing to help you out.
Yeah, and it's obvious from the number of volunteers that you've got helping. Just absolutely amazing.
We're super blessed here in the Northwest.
Yeah, that's awesome. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Don't forget to unclip yourselves. And I'll just take the mics from you.
We'll go find you some more volunteers.
Yeah, find me some more guinea pigs.
Thank you.
All right, my pleasure.
Thank you so much.
No, my pleasure. Don't forget your candy bar. Let's make that one. And we're going to see if we can conserve the battery there. Now, I know a few of you guys are watching, and I would like you to do me a favor. Again, if you were earlier, you might have seen where somebody spammed our feed, which I guess is something I should have anticipated. But if some of you guys would anybody, just type in a chat question, just say, we can hear you, your audio is okay, your picture is okay. I would appreciate it. So I want to make sure that our chat function is working properly, so that for those of you that do come along later and have a question or want to offer your own comments, we'd love to hear them. That's what we're all about here. And I see somebody carrying a bunch of books.
Yeah.
Who have we got here?
Randy Jewett.
Randy Jewett. Yeah. All right. Before we get started, Randy, let's give you a mic. Just clip that anywhere you want. Turn you on.
Better watch that.
All right.
Oh, look, man, you got a big screen there.
Well, there's a camera.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, Wayne. Okay, if you give me a few minutes, well, I really want to talk to you too. All right, so we'll hang on. And so now, for the benefit of the viewers that are on, name who you're with.
I'm Randy Jewett. I have RJ's Tire Pros and Auto Experts in Yakima, Washington.
All right, and what's going on with you here at the event?
Oh, this event, we just got new members in the crew and bring them over here, and we got the best of the best here in the automotive industry, teaching our kids. And it's an awesome deal.
Okay, so you're here as a shop owner that brought your crew in.
Yep.
Okay, because you have to forgive me, brother, because it's like I've been talking to vendors all evening so far. So it's great.
Oh yeah, am I the first?
You're the first attendee I get to talk to. That's awesome. No, I appreciate that. So this is really great. So and what's the name again?
Randy Jewett.
Randy. Okay, so Randy, I'm Pete.
Pete.
And it's neat because, like G was saying, he's like he says, I have no clue who you are, which is okay.
Right.
But anyway, this is for Motor Age Magazine. It's one of our publications.
Well, and you're one of the top guys.
One of the seats here, so.
top vendors or top people in the United States doing our stuff. We read it all the time.
I appreciate that. So, from an attendee's perspective, like you just said, you bring everybody.
Yeah, I closed down the shop on Friday. I'm not open on Saturdays, but yeah, we closed down the shop. Come over Thursday night. It's about a 2.5 hour drive over here from Yakima. So we get a hotel for a couple nights and take in the event.
Okay, and so I'm gonna come back to something in a moment here. But what I really want to hear about here is that why in the world would you shut a business down and bring these people in here? What's the benefit to you?
Well, the benefit is huge. I mean, sometimes you have to hear it from somebody else. It's kind of like your dad. Your dad's telling you to do all this all your life, and then all of a sudden somebody else tells you to do it and goes, oh yeah, now I understand. Yeah, it was right. And so saying that, it's one of the facts of what's in the future. What's coming down the pike. Where should we put our eggs? What basket should we look in? How do we direct ourselves in the industry? And these kids really need to hear that from the experts. And it's they're more eloquent about it. Sometimes I don't get to take the time with them that I do, and this is the time to do that. We take the time. All my guys are going. This is incredible. I'm learning so much. So it's just a good event to do this.
Now, as a business owner, do you actually see a return on that investment when you get your guys back?
Well, we hope so.
That's the game, right?
That's the game. Yeah. The honeymoon goes on for a month or so. After the thing, and that's where I come in, and these other vendors that have now. There's a lot of stuff online, teaching apps, that kind of thing that you can go into and keep your crew engaged, and get help with that. Because as an independent owner, this is our base. This is where we come to for our support. We have support in the town. There's 2 or 3 shops that we're good friends. I mean, we're competitors, but we're also allies. We're all after the same goal.
Sure.
So it's just a good feeling to come here and get that camaraderie and that benefit of education and moving forward.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you sharing your story with our audience.
You bet.
You heard it, guys. Again, it's a shop right. I didn't make it up. Here's one right here. Whole crew here.
It's awesome.
Get the training.
Awesome.
And again, it's not just the training information. It's building that team spirit, that team mindset.
Yep.
It's not employees, employer. We're together. We're the same. We're in this fight together.
Yep.
And we're pulling together to get things happening. Right.
That's right. So, yeah. It's good to be get everybody on the same page.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, Randy,
thanks again.
A lot, man. I
you
appreciate
bet.
it. And we'll just leave that one live here for Wayne. We'll bring him in next.
Wayne's another good guy.
And again, thank you guys for your comments. Let me know the chat's doing all right. And let's see, here's the hot one. Just clip that anywhere you want.
Okay.
And we'll just set that on the couch there beside you. So we don't have to be too formal with the mics.
Okay.
And you are?
I'm Wayne Bridges. I'm the ITAC Automotive Apprenticeship Training Coordinator.
Well, that's a mouthful.
Yeah. So it's an Independent Technicians Automotive Committee. It was formed by NWACA. Actually, we became a registered apprenticeship in the state of Washington in October of 2018.
Okay. So that's the state. How about, I think, is there a Department of Labor aspect to that as well?
It is. It's through the Department of Labor and Industries here in Washington State. We have 3 apprenticeship tracks. We have a 1-year, 2,000-hour general service technician apprenticeship that gets that young person ready to work on the quick lane. doing really good inspections and um, um, basic mechanical and maintenance and stuff like that. And then we have a 4-year Master Service Technician apprenticeship. That's going to comprise of 600 hours of classroom related supplemental instruction and 8,000 hours of on-the-job training.
Wow.
Yeah. And once they complete that program, they get a journey level certificate from the state of Washington, either one of those. And we've built it so that general service technician apprenticeship actually transfers into the master.
Oh, okay.
So especially for young people, sometimes they're not sure if they really want to do it, or they get in part way and they go, this wasn't really for me. At least they get a credential at the end.
Yeah.
But if they choose to continue, then they can transfer that time and credit into the full program.
Now, is this an option to or in sync with a traditional, like a 2-year program, or?
So we have agreements with any ASE approved training program.
Mm-hmm.
So currently I have agreements with a couple of the local automotive technical college programs where they have met ASE education foundation standards. So those students that complete that program can transfer 150 up to 600 hours of classroom into, so they can satisfy our entire classroom requirement and up to 500 hours of on-the-job training into the program.
So now, my interest in this really came about a few years ago. We had an opportunity to go to Australia and do some work with the training company there. And I talked to a lot of the shop owners there about, and some of the educators there, about how their approach to training their technicians. Mm-hmm. So let me kind of voice that out to you, and then you can give me some comparisons to what you're doing here now. There, they have a very close partnership between the shop owner and the school, and they actually have an agreement with the student. The shop owners do. Hey, we're going to support you. We're going to hire you. We're going to bring you along, as long as you stay on track doing what you need to do with the school.
Right.
And they may go to school 1 day a week, and then they go to the shop for the other 4. And they're going to be paid a wage. It's not going to be master mechanic wage, but they're going to be paid a wage so they can make a living.
Right.
And they're going to, the shop owner knows where they're at in their training, so he can reinforce that in the shop. How does your program align with a concept like that?
So we actually have a youth apprenticeship where kids that are in a high school automotive program can be in our apprenticeship. So they get their classroom at the high school automotive program, whether that's at a regular traditional high school or at one of the skill centers. We have agreements with 4 skill centers in Washington State where those kids, once they get done with their regular school day, go to one of our approved shops and they get their OJT and they get a paycheck.
Awesome.
We don't have those agreements with the colleges yet. That's one of the things we are working on and expanding into.
Yeah, this is a fairly new program, right?
It is. We've been around for 3 years now.
Sure.
And we're actually the fastest growing apprenticeship in the state of Washington right now.
Wow.
So we have 31 training agents in 11 different counties here in the state of Washington.
Yeah. So if you've been in 3 years now, do you currently have participants who are in that master program nearing the end of their program?
I do. And one of them will be completing here in the next month or 2. So we've had three completers so far in the general service technician. 2 of them have transferred into the master service technician program. The gentleman that's getting ready to graduate from the master program, he's been a master technician, ASE master certified for 20 years.
Wow.
But he wanted this credential from the state of Washington. And I was able to give him 6,000 hours of OJT credit and 450 hours of related supplemental instruction, the classroom piece. And we have tailored his classroom piece around advanced engine performance, advanced electrical and hybrid and electric vehicles, because that's what he and his boss really need him to focus on.
Yeah.
So we've been able to tailor that. And part of the reason we're able to do that is most of our classroom, I'm putting those quotation marks again, is actually online. We use a program called Electude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so you're familiar
Very
with that?
familiar.
Yeah, so we built our program around that so that apprentices that come into our program have that flexibility. They don't have to go to that brick and mortar school every Tuesday night from 6 to 10. And so it has worked really, really well.
Yeah, and for those of you who are watching that are familiar with Electude, hopefully we'll get a chance to talk to one of the representatives before the night's over. But they're very adept, I guess is a good word, to about developing virtual training scenarios. So when we're talking about online training with Electude, it's not a talking head and some slides, like PowerPoint slides. They actually have the virtual reality capability to allow that student to take that meter lead, take that tool, turn that circuit on, take the measure, all the things that he would do if the vehicle is sitting in front of him.
Right.
So it's a great option to like you said, have to be commit that time.
And as an instructor, the really cool piece is when I assign them that vehicle, I can see every step that they took diagnosing that vehicle, and I can see where they made a wrong turn. You know, I assigned them a vehicle and it had one trouble code, and during their diagnostic process, they've set 5 more codes. We can have a discussion about good diagnostic processes, and I can really help them see where they got off. And that is such a powerful tool for teaching. And the other thing that I really like is, especially for young people today, it's a games-based program. And we're giving them nice bite-sized pieces of information, training. Then we're assessing that. We're not giving them a big whole bunch of stuff that's making their brain explode and then trying to, have them, decipher all of it on one quiz. So it's a great program. And the cool thing is, during COVID, almost every school in the nation switched over to Electude. When COVID hit, all the apprenticeship programs in Washington State were struggling because they couldn't have face-to-face training. Well, ITAC, because we were already online, we were able to operate seamlessly. Not one of my apprentices missed any kind of hours of training. So it was a great thing.
It's great. And I think another great thing about the apprenticeship program, I love the traditional 2-year vocational training, right? The one that's kind of been standardized. And what I'm going to say is that no way reflects battling on those programs. I just want to make that very clear, from the outset. If you're a professional educator and you followed me for any length of time, you know that I have a real passion for you supporting what you're doing in your schools. A perfect example, and I've shared this story many, many times. The community that I live in, there were 2 high school programs within 10 minutes of one another, right? The one just fluttered and died from lack of support from the administration. But the gentleman who ran that program until his retirement had the biggest heart for helping his students succeed, even using the minimal resources they were giving him to do it. He busted his tail. And every instructor I've ever met in the public school system, whether it's high school or secondary, has had that same commitment to their students. And I applaud you for that. I did a little bit of that. It's tough.
It is.
And I appreciate all of you for what you're doing for these students. So I don't want to get out of text that. But with that being said, when you take a kid through a straight 2-year program and they don't really have the opportunity to apply what they're learning, by the time they're done, 90% of what they knew is lost. Knowledge not used is lost. So the apprentice program is a way to reinforce that training as they go. Ingraining it in their habits, in their skill sets, building each on the other to where they reach the end of it. Now you have, like you said, they get a journeyman certification. And again, this is something maybe some of the older viewers might be able to understand. My father grew up that way in Europe as an apprentice, and as a craftsman, and knowing some of the things that he did to learn his trade. He never admitted that he was a master because he never could take that master test that they want. And if you're not sure what we're talking, hey, let me know. I'd be glad to tell you all about it.
Just to tie on with what you're saying, I actually spent 29 years teaching at a 2-year automotive program. And I retired in 2018 because I was so frustrated with my students leaving my program and going to work and not having any support when they got out there.
Right.
And 2 to 4 years later, they've left the industry. So I contacted NWACA, and they were already starting to work on this apprenticeship program, because that's what I wanted to do, see if we could reinstate an apprenticeship program in Washington. Yeah. So we worked together and built this thing to give those people that are coming out of those trade schools that support. Because I would always tell my students, when you graduate from this program with that nice diploma, you still don't know squat about the automobile. So,
yeah.
you know, and you need lots of support out there.
And I get it, and I'm glad you said that, because the shops who are participating in your program obviously understand the importance of mentoring their students, their new techs.
Right.
And again, if you've listened to me for any length of time, when I have shop owners mail me or call me and say, "Pete, where do I find good techs?" The very first question I ask them, and I'm asking you, are you involved on your industry advisory council of your local programs?
Yes.
You know, if you want to know what's going on and you want to have an impact on the programs and the students they're producing, you need to do that. And it's not that big a deal. It's like a meeting every quarter. It's not, and they feed you.
Yep.
So it's not
most of them feed you.
Not a bad thing. But
here's the thing: is as an instructor for 29 years, I sent my best students to the shops that were represented on my advisory committee.
Sure.
So if you want the best, you need to be involved in those advisory committees.
Yeah.
Whether it's a K-12 or post-secondary, those are important. And if there's no automotive program in your area, there's a CTE program at the local high school. You can be on that CTE advisory committee, get into those classrooms and tell these young people about the opportunities in the automotive industry.
Yeah,
that's crucial.
Right?
It's crucial.
So important.
Yep.
And the other thing I want to say to the shop owners, that when you're hiring these graduates, as Wayne just aptly pointed out, usually what I see happen is one of three things. Either they expect that new student to be an A-Tech, which he is certainly not. He or she is certainly not. And then they get all ticked off when it doesn't happen.
Right.
Or they are older and they treat them like they were treated. They stick the broom in their hands, tell them they're going to clean the john, sweep the floors, and any tech or any student that just spent 2 years in school and substantial portion of their income to attend that school aren't going to clean bathrooms for you at minimum wage. That's not going to happen. And the third, which is what you need to do, is understand that you've been giving a diamond in the rough, and you take that diamond in the rough, you mentor that diamond in the rough, you polish that diamond, you help them grow to that position, and in the apprentice program, even better. So with all that said, Wayne, this is for Washington State, right?
Right.
If there's anyone watching in the Washington State area who would like to know more about how they can become involved, where do they need to go?
So if they go to the NWACA website, there's a link right on there for the ITAC apprenticeship program. You can get more information about all of our different offerings. One other offering that we have that we kind of missed is we have an automotive service advisor apprenticeship as well. Okay. It's a 1-year apprenticeship. The classroom is through Clover Park Technical College, fully online. And when they complete that program, they get their certificate from the state of Washington, but they also get 14 credits that they can apply to either an associate's degree or bachelor's degree.
Wow!
So it's a great partnership that we develop.
Yeah, and I'm glad you continue with that, because as a tech, having a professional service advisor meant the difference between me eating and not eating.
Exactly.
You know what
I mean?
Yep. And another thing, the program I was just telling you about, the other one was held at another high school. This young man was a real inspiration to me. He took on his program. I don't know how he got involved with it, but he did. He started off with an empty classroom and 2 parking spots assigned to him in a parking lot. That was all he had. So he came up with whatever he could come up with. He had a small group of students. And I love what he described as his philosophy to me. He said, you know what? I try to tell my students, they may be here to study the technical side of things, like the old shop day classes of old.
Yeah.
But he would tell them right off the get-go, you can be a technician, you can be a parts person, you can be a service advisor, you can be the chairman of friggin' General Motors if you want to.
Yep.
But in all of those instances, you have to speak car.
Right.
And I'm going to teach you how to speak car.
Yeah.
And that's what he did. He got students so excited in that program that they built a 6-bay facility for them on the property.
That's great.
And they're not far from what I call the Motor Mile. All the major nameplates represented.
Yeah.
And all these dealers are on his advisory council. And you know what? Every graduate they have is put to work at these dealers. And then these dealers, they know the value of it. They may start them off in the oil lane, but they send them to schools.
Yeah.
They develop them and next thing you know, a couple years down the road, they've got a master factory tech working for them. You know.
Yeah.
Hey,
there's one more thing that I
Sure.
would like to share, because this is something I'm really proud of that we developed. We have a partnership with the Coyote Ridge Correction Center over in Eastern Washington.
Okay.
So they have a really good automotive program over there. But because the people are incarcerated, they can't do the on-the-job training piece. We have a partnership with them where it's a pre-apprenticeship. So they can transfer the full 150 hours of RSI into our apprenticeship, and we can give them 500 hours credit once they come into our apprenticeship. So
you're on you're on stream. You're on live stream here. You're on a stream here.
Yeah. But you look handsome.
But
so
you look good.
Yep. Yeah, so that's a program that we put together to give those incarcerated individuals an opportunity. And I spent a whole day at that facility and talked to those guys, and they were just wonderful. They're excited about the industry. Everyone I talked to knew that they had messed up, but they're ready to turn their lives around. And this is going to give them that opportunity.
That's great.
So
that's awesome. Wayne, thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you.
If I can do anything more to help you, you just reach out and let me know. All right,
I appreciate that.
All
Thank
right?
you.
Don't forget to
yeah. Thank you.
There you go. Cool. Oh, Carolyn, do I get to talk to you next? Come on. Oh, please. I have not met her yet. I saw her class. Kathleen, how are you doing? Nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you. Pete, you were literally in my last presentation that I did at World Pack.
Yeah.
It was a screenshot of the...
Get mic'd up. Get mic'd up. Put you on mic there.
Oh,
and we'll get one for you too.
That's good right there?
Anywhere you want. Look at anywhere you want. There we go.
Oh, this is a great shot.
Yeah, not too bad. I got to make sure I get the sign in.
Oh, very good. Yeah. Okay, cool. So
All
the
right,
camera is there. Okay, cool.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And we got some chats going on there. So if any of our online viewers have any questions for you, they can
What's up,
send
Tom?
them in. All right. So let's begin at the beginning. Carol, and I don't want to mess up your last name. Carolyn Cocolette.
Yes, sir. Pete Meyer.
Owner of the hybrid, what's the name of the shop you have?
Luscious Garage.
Luscious Garage,
yes.
Right, in San Francisco.
Yes, sir.
Right? Mm-hmm. And you are?
Kathleen Long with Repair Pal.
Repair Pal, right? And we'll talk about both. But I want to start with you because I've been promising to do this with you for a while.
I hope this isn't my only chip to play because I'd love to do something.
No, not at all.
Yeah, although it's great to be here with the show.
And that's something we're kind of playing with this concept now. It's like we did the Gary's live address this afternoon. And we streamed that out.
Yeah, awesome.
And we're looking at expanding that becoming more of that media company that we're supposed to be, and doing these type of programs and inviting experts, subject matter experts for a variety of issues. So I hope we get to do this again.
Please, I'd love that.
So let's start first. Let's start talking about your shop.
Okay.
Because you were one of the first hybrid shops.
Yep.
Many years ago to debut in the San Francisco area. And of course, being a lady owner.
Yep. Also unusual.
Unusual, but unfortunately, hopefully not going to remain that way.
Not at all.
Right?
Yeah, not at all.
So I'm going to see knock some of those walls down.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. There's a ton of female owners here. Some of them are owners with their partners, but there's just a really mixed crowd here at the show. So we're seeing the change. Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's very healthy for the business, I think, not only because diversity is healthy, but also because we're seeing this sort of next generation and more people getting involved. And we already know there's a dearth of talent inside of our business because so many people are leaving, whether it's technicians or aging out of the business. So to see kind of the next generation of interested entrepreneurs and service pros, etc. So it's a really good sign. It's a good sign also for the association because obviously association affairs are always under pressure. I don't know if you're aware, but I'm the current president at ASCCA down in California.
Oh, awesome.
So I'm there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I'm involved down there. So we're in the process of doing work in the California region. But I love what Brenda and Jeff and everybody have done up here, and it's a pleasure to be able to participate in this show. So
well, you need to let me more about your event, so maybe we can bring this on the road there.
For sure. Well, it's association business, so there's a million things to go and do.
Right.
So yeah, you're on my list, Pete. I got to track you down. But yeah, absolutely. And we'll do a quid pro quo. Maybe I can join you on a show, and then we can have you at one of our events. That'd be fantastic.
Yes, that would be cool.
Where are you located?
I'm in Tampa.
Okay, so you're on the other side of the country. This is a big trip.
Other side of the planet. That is a trip.
Yeah.
I don't even want to go into what I had to go through to get here this year.
Well, I was just in Orlando, and that was a long journey. Yeah.
Yes.
Were you at the SDX?
Yes.
Okay.
Worldpac event. Yeah.
Did I not see you there, huh?
Yeah. Well, unfortunately I couldn't stay very long. I had some family affairs I had to take care of.
Okay. Well, hopefully good affairs.
Yeah. Well, no, but that's okay. It's just life, right?
It's life. Yeah.
But no, but you got involved with hybrids, like I said, early on. How long have you had Delicious Garage?
15 years.
So you're like almost right there when hybrids were first out.
Yeah. So the first Prius, the Insight came out in 2000. The first Prius was 2001. We opened in 2007. So they weren't brand new, but they were really hot. Like the Gen 2 Prius had become like the really hot car. People don't remember that the Prius used to be cool. It was actually cool for a while. Everyone wanted one.
Yeah.
So it was back at that time, and we located in San Francisco because obviously that was where there were a lot of those types of clients, and so it was a lot of fun.
And we're starting to see a slow tick in the number of hybrids and EVs being sold.
EVs for sure,
right? And that's just really. GM has made a huge commitment to it. Ford, a lot of manufacturers make commitment to these vehicles, and I was recently helped develop a diesel class, and while I was looking at those stats and saw that hybrids were outselling diesels 3-1.
Wow.
And these are the truck guys. These are like from where I'm at, the redneck Southern boys with the big diesel trucks, right? And EVs are selling faster than they're buying their trucks. So if you had any advice to give any of the shop owners who might be watching about their hesitancy to stick their toes in the water and embrace this future technology, what would you tell them?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I've been doing some training on it. So I was at STX teaching a class basically on that topic, but just something brief for the purposes of this is I'd buy a Gen 2 Prius. I'd buy a second generation Prius. That's 2004 to 2009. You can usually pick one up for like $500, and it's basically the cheapest trainer you could possibly buy. I mean, it's like you can rip that car apart. Gosh knows it's not sacred. You know what I mean? You can rip it up. You can use it as a loaner. You can take the high voltage components apart and get used to looking at them on the data stream. And anyway, so that's a great place to start. And then obviously get in training. So my one rule of thumb around training is never take a class from someone who hasn't actually worked on the cars themselves. There's a lot of people in this space who love to stand up in front of the room and tell you they know something, but they've never done any of the work. So anyway, that's just a watch out on that topic. But there are a lot of really great folks out there who have a lot of experience on the cars, and there's a lot to learn from them.
Yeah. And that's not the only venture you have.
Sorry?
That's not the only venture that you have.
Yeah, so I also have a software company.
Yeah, so tell us about that.
Yeah, so it's called Shopware. It's a shop management company. We've been in business for 9 years, believe it or not. Yeah.
Already.
So we were actually here in 2016, and I have a photo up at our booth from when we came here with Chip Keene, who's a longtime active member of NWACA. So anyway, we know this association well, but yeah, that's been a lot of fun too, and it's been fun meeting other folks here in the Pacific Northwest that are looking to upgrade their businesses and how we can help.
So what does Shopware offer the owner? What kind of, it's like a management software program?
Yes, sir.
But what does that cover?
So most management systems make invoices and will manage some of your inventory control and parts purchasing and stuff like that. And they vary in terms of their, their service coverage depending on how old they are, how sophisticated they are, et cetera. There are some things that the legacy systems never did or have tried to do with some bolt-on products to sort of band-aid the problem. And, we're a newer solution that allows people to do all those things in one place. So rather than, keep band-aiding the problem, we actually went and built a, bottom-up solution so that allows people to do all the things they need to do, not only the things they've always needed to do inside their businesses, but also be able to meet contemporary customers where they are. So a lot of digital solutions there, paperless solutions. You know, yeah, cloud is a big deal. You can do stuff on your phone, that's great. But there are several different components that make cloud a real difference maker. One of them is processing power. So for example, we have a parts pricing tool, which we call the optimizer, which replaces a traditional parts matrix and will auto price your parts in order to hit a GP on your behalf. So you enter the GP that you want to achieve, and it will price your parts to go and get that. And it's based on an algorithm that looks at the parts that you have sold in the last 30 days based on their cost distribution, and then auto adjusts your pricing curve to go and get that gross profit target. And, you know, if you asked a legacy system to try and achieve that, you know, your server would melt down, your server would catch on fire because it can't do all of those calculations. So this is something that a cloud-based solution can actually do for you. And I can get on my soapbox about this, but my general philosophy is not only do people in this industry deserve a lot more from their vendors and their tools, but also they should expect more from their vendors and their tools. And your tools should work for you. You shouldn't work for them.
Yeah.
And a lot of the systems, whether new or old, are basically still expecting you, the human, to do all the work, to do all the thinking. You're still running your business between your ears. Yeah. And I feel very strongly about offering tools that allow you to do the things that only you can do, like talk to the customer and fix the car, and let the tool take care of your business.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
So if anybody's watching wants to find out more about what Shopware has to offer them,
it's getshopware.com.
That's easy enough.
Yeah.
Getshopware.com.
Yes.
Well, thank you,
Thanks.
Carolyn.
Thanks, Pete.
I appreciate it. And
Kathleen.
Okay,
yes.
Kathleen with Repair Pal.
That's right.
So I saw your class a little bit. I came in and got a couple of pictures there.
Yeah, thank you.
Put those up on our social media to
Nice.
see all the training resources that we have available. But I got to tell you, I am a fan of Repair Pal. I've used Repair Pal to find shops for our own needs. And I guess so with that being said, tell them what Repair Pal is.
Yeah, so Repair Pal is a consumer-focused company first and foremost. So we want to help consumers find auto repair that they can trust. So in order to meet that need, we developed a network of certified shops over the years. We're now at 3,000 independent shops. So we've been working with the shop community for a long time. And those shops go through a certification process. So we look at the tools and equipment. Every shop has to have a shop management system. So if you don't, you want to be part of Repair Pal. Obviously Shopware is a great solution. And I will also say that it's nice to see that the price is coming down, because for a long time shops are doing business on paper just simply because it was cost prohibitive to acquire shop management software on top of all of the other costs of running the shop. Mm-hmm. So really it's democratized the price quite a bit and made really robust tools available to shops at a lower price point, which I think is good because the consumer expectation around quality is increasing. So we're looking at the customer satisfaction, that the shop is attentive to fair pricing, which doesn't mean cheap pricing, because there's nothing more expensive than a cheap auto repair, right? Mm-hmm. Because that's an auto repair you have to do more than once. But yes, we want to find the shops that are doing right. And then because we provide so many resources to consumers, we have about 4 million unique visitors to our website every month, and we match those visitors with high quality auto repair. Yeah. And so that's been the crux of our business for a very long time. Because we have high quality shops and because our shop partners are so outstanding, that allows us to do a lot of other things. Mm-hmm. And so we've acquired a number of partners over the years. We have about 65 different partnerships where companies like USAA, CarMax, Consumer Reports will send their customers and members to Repair Pal for help in finding quality auto repair. Yep. Because for them, it's about brand protection. So if I'm USAA, I want to make sure that my customers are safe on the road. Quite frankly, I'm an insurance company. I want to reduce my claims. I don't want people colliding with each other. And part of doing that is making sure that the car is safe to drive and that it's been well maintained and all of that. But if I'm going to make a recommendation around auto repair, they're sticking their neck out to do that, because if a customer goes to an auto repair shop, has a terrible experience, then USAA is kind of on the hook for that recommendation. So the only thing that makes sense for companies like that are attentive to quality is to partner with someone like Repair Pal, where we've ensured the quality of the shop, we stand behind the experience. And then everywhere that someone looks, I want them to see a Repair Pal shop. So I want all of these high quality companies to recommend their customers to Repair Pal. And in this way, to our, 3,000 shops, we're bringing tens of thousands of repairs every month in new business. And then with our estimator and some of our other tools, there's also a retention benefit to shops there as well, where they can say, look, I know it's an expensive repair. Cars are getting more complicated. But here I can prove that it's fair priced.
Yes.
And, I can prove that I'm a high quality shop. I've achieved this certification as well as, hopefully others through attending training events like this one and, participating with the ASE and these other things as well. Because we also look for shops that are doing ongoing training, which is why this is an outstanding event for us to be at, because it's training focused, so it's very mission aligned for us as a company. But I've been with the company now for 8 years, and it's been a pleasure to watch the shop network grow methodologically, because we do certify one shop at a time. But it's been a nice adventure.
Yeah, and as a consumer, my son was looking for some work for a vehicle that he owned, and I remembered Repair Pal, and that's where I went. So from on the consumer standpoint, to your shop owners, as a consumer, I'm going to Repair Pal site, and I'm looking first estimate of cost for that particular repair in my area, so I get a nice range of an actually reasonable number to expect as a consumer. And then shops in my area that are certified by Repair Pal to make that repair. And what I thought was beautiful is that you just don't, you can't just call this young lady and say, hey, sign me up. Well, you can, but it's a little bit more involved than that.
Yep.
They do vet their shops to a variety of professional standards, which is awesome for a consumer. It's not just word of mouth or a good Yelp review. This has been an independent organization that has said, yes, we vetted their tooling, we vetted their training, we vetted their shop. You're not pulling some dive that's got rats in the corner. You know what I mean? It's just like the whole package is being warranted. And if something happens, Repair Pal is saying, hey, we got your back.
That's right.
If that happens to you as a consumer, that's powerful. That's very powerful. So if you want to know if you've got what it takes to be a Repair Pal pot shop, where do they got to go?
Well, they can go to repairpal.com. We've got 4 shops right in the upper right-hand corner. Click on it, schedule a demo with one of our sales folks, or send us a note and, make a call. We'd be happy to talk to shops that are interested, take you through the process. And look, if for some reason a shop doesn't pass, we want to be a force for good in the industry too, not just for consumers. So we'll work with shops that are, just maybe lacking in one of the areas. Like if they don't have enough training, we can recommend, where they need to go to get additional training. Or if the customer,
like Motor Age TST webinars.
That's exactly 100%. Yes, 100%. Or if they don't have their customer sat scores as high as they would like them. So we can look and say, here's some of the things we would recommend based on what your customers are saying. So we will work with shops to get them to the level where they can be approved. So we don't like to turn shops down. It's just a necessary part of our business. But where we've got good people who are doing the right things, then we work to make sure that that we can get them as good as they can be. Which ultimately, at the end of the day, we're a for-profit business, and so are the shops, right? And so having that high level of quality also ends up translating to sales and revenue at the end of the day.
And good customers.
And good customers that come back, right? And
right.
So,
well, we don't want that Everett sent you guy to show up. I hate Everett. Every time he shows up at the shop, it's like, well, Everett sent you to my oil change. My radio doesn't work right. We don't. And you as a shop owner, there's always those customers you love to fire. Right? So that lets us for that. Well, ladies, thank you so much for hanging out with me for a little bit, telling us about
thank you so much for the chance.
And thank you, Caroline. I've looked forward to this opportunity for a long time.
Yeah, let's do it again.
It's so nice to meet you. I appreciate it.
Have a great rest of your event.
All right, great.
All right, well, let's go back to your booth.
All right, we'll get out of here.
Hi, folks. You guys good?
Yeah, she good.
She lost her phone. We thought we'd look up her and see. I don't think her probably not. I'll follow up with you separately. Probably not. But
no problem, Caroline. You bet.
Rule it out. Yep. Look. Is it there? I told you
I had a feeling your phone was in this house. John should go buy a lottery ticket.
That's
oh
right.
My God. Don't you love me? I love you. I love you.
Well, see, if you'd have called it, I'd have heard it go off, right? So.
I just had this feeling.
Hey, you want to bring me somebody else? I know the folks at Auto Leap are dying to come over here. All right, so we got a few minutes in between here, guys. See, now we're cooking, right? We've got some great guests who've shared their stories with us, and again, I can't stress this enough. When you get to come to an event like this, and you get to talk to some of these resources, these talented individuals, like Caroline, for example. She's a shop owner, a successful shop owner. She took a chance in diving into what at the time was a relatively new market and focused her entire business on hybrids from the beginning and turned that into a very successful business. And then as her business grew and she realized some limitations of what was available to her, up came Shopware. And that's a solution that if it's good enough for Caroline, it's something you should certainly check out as a shop owner. And then we don't want to forget, too, that we have Kathleen with Repair Pal. I got to tell you, man, I'm a big fan of Repair Pal from both the professional side and on the consumer side. So if your shop thinks it's got what it takes to be a Repair Pal shop, then come on down and check them at repairpal.com. Come on down. Auto text me. How you doing, buddy?
Doing wonderful.
Let's mic you up before we. You take that. Try to put it everywhere you want. All right. And God, I can't. His name is right on my face.
Chris Coutier.
What's that?
Chris Coutier?
Chris, yes. I mean, I'm saying like all the events. Is he here this one? Or?
He's not here today.
No.
He's enjoying some time with the family. I live in the Bay Area, and it's a little bit easier, right? Just a quick flight.
So
I have volunteered.
We'll start right. Introduce yourself and who you're with.
Hello, I'm Chan Patel. I'm Vice President of Sales and Business Development, Auto Text Me. And this has been a wonderful event. Great trainers, great family, great friends.
That's a mouthful, right? It's like
absolutely.
Does it all fit on the business card?
It does.
So tell us about Auto Text Me. What is that?
So Auto Text Me is a workflow communication tool. We help service advisors, technicians build trust and transparency with clients using digital inspections, two-way texting. At the end of the day, what we're trying to do is we're trying to make the shops move a little bit faster. We live on top of shop management systems, so whether you're using any of the wonderful shop management systems that are here,
like Shopware,
like TechMetric, wonderful partners of ours.
Yeah.
There's countless of them out there, and in fact, it's some of the older legacy, if you want to call them there. We work with them as well. We've worked so well as a shop management enhancement tool that we can work even independently of them. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to focus in on the key metrics that move the needle for shops and make it easier for them. The reality is texting is here. And if you have the very best texting, two-way texting platform out there, it's going to help not only build the communication, get faster response with customers, but it's also going to build relationships. And digital inspections, if you're not a shop in 2022 using digital inspections, I'll be shocked. But I understand why shops are hesitant. There's been tools out there that just made it a little bit harder. I believe we have the easiest to adopt and to use. We offer free training, free support, unlimited, and it's month to month, and we love opportunity. Reach us out, give us a call, and we'll happy to kind of give you a quick demo and see if it's a good fit.
So I want to stress some of the things that you just said that caught my eye. It's like, and I'm an absolute believer in this as well. Your customer is not sitting in the waiting room waiting for you to get done, right? They have a life. They have things to do. And sometimes it's the vehicle has been brought in by someone who is not the one who's experiencing the problem. That's one thing.
Absolutely.
And a lot of your customers, the majority of your customers now are ladies making that decision.
Yes.
And you can call them, but they'll just ignore the phone call or if they're busy. I know if I'm in the office and I'm working, I'm not paying attention to the phone, you can go to voicemail. And emails, I check my email twice a day, one in the morning, once in the afternoon.
You're disciplined?
That's it. But text, if I get a text, I'm going to read it.
Did you hear about that stat? 95% of all text messages get read in less than a minute.
Yeah, wow.
And if you're a millennial, guess what that is? It's even quicker.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It's acceptable socially if I'm in a meeting to glance over my phone, give you a response. Hey, can we move forward with this repair? Absolutely.
Right.
But not acceptable for me to step out, listen to voicemail. So here's the reality. Find the solution that's easier. You have to adopt the technology, and there's solutions out there that are very easy to adopt.
Yeah, I like the digital inspection process. It's like if your customer comes in with a complaint, and they leave the car with you, they drop it off with you, and you get it in the shop, and let's just say you're doing a brake job, and you can see that, oh, wow, this rotor is like badly damaged, calipers are frozen, take a couple of images, text message, show that to your customer on, with a text.
Yep.
And then they can see the need and give you the okay right then and there to proceed. And it just, like you said, it speeds up the workflow. It gets that bay moving, gets that rotating, that work through that bay.
Absolutely.
And as a shop owner, you want to keep that.
It's a well-oiled engine machine that you got to be constantly. You can work on process. We're big believers in processes and workflow, and that's a constant evolution.
Right.
And you got to use technology to adopt. There's something about video. We all know the TikTok phenomenon.
Oh, yeah.
And when you describe something, when just share a quick 5-second video, it's pretty much standard.
And you should know that you are watching this on video, right? So it's the same thing. This is the way people communicate. In fact, I saw a stat not too long ago because of a few projects that we're working on. And I think it was something like 85-90% of consumers make a purchasing decision based on video.
It's powerful.
It's very powerful.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I appreciate sharing your message. And before we got to go, though, if they want to find out more about Auto Text Me, where do they go?
Just go to autotextme.com, reach out. We'll be happy to help you out.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks again.
Thank you again. Nice meeting you.
Appreciate
Take care.
Hey, thanks about that.
Awesome.
Take care.
You bet. Thank you so much. All right. So, moving right along here, 9:30 Eastern. That's 6:30 Pacific. We'll do the math there. Things are quieting down here now, as most of the attendees have had a chance to make their way around the show, talk to the business owners that they wanted to talk to. So it is getting a little quieter. Don't have the traffic flow that we had earlier, so we may not go all the way to 8 o'clock as we originally planned. You know, I'm not going to keep you on here just talking just for the sake of it, right? So I've sent out a few feelers to see if we can get somebody out here. So until we do, we'll go ahead and hit some more of the industry things that are on my mind. After all, this is my stream. Again, I would love to know if you watch this, what you guys think. Is this something that you don't mind popping in and seeing what we have to share, or talking to people like Caroline and Kathleen and Jan and some of the others that you see on tonight? Maybe not all at one shot, but on a kind of a routine basis, so you can learn more about what they do and how they do it. And include other things, like I said, industry news that you really need to be aware of. And let me talk about that for a little bit. If you are not aware, you need to be, of pending legislation in Congress, on the federal level that is, in Congress, called the Repair Act. It's called the Repair Act. And I'm sorry, I don't have the information in front of me to what that stands for, but it's the right to equitable repair. It's kind of a federal version of right to repair. A little more involved than that. We actually had a great interview with CEO of the Auto Care Association, Bill Hanvey, and Paul McCarthy of the Automotive Aftermarket Suppliers Association, or Parts Association rather, Suppliers Association, AASA. It's so many organizations, it's hard for me to keep track sometimes. But great conversation with them about what the legislation entails and why it is needed. And this is something that, again, if you're an independent technician, and here's this son of a gun here again, I'm trying to get rid of you, little son of a... And this guy is just really trying to get in on me. It's amazing how these I don't know how they find us with this crap, for lack of a better word, that they try to get into your chat. I apologize for that. Let's see, is he trying again? So, Jim, you're asking me more tomorrow. I tell you what, I'm actually teaching class tomorrow morning. And then that's going to kind of wrap it up for me for this event and the event itself. It was a morning class session, and that'll be done. This will be available, though, for you to look at your leisure. And as I think there's been so much great information shared, I need to go back over the video file and pull these great pieces out into some more bite-sized pieces for you guys to take advantage of. So thank you for asking about that, Jimmy, and thank you for indicating that it's been worthwhile for you. I really appreciate that. I really want to come up with this concept and kind of fine-tune it so that we can offer you a platform that you can know is going to be there for you every week, every other week, whatever we can do as far as the scheduling goes, that can talk about some of the things that we just started talking about. Again, I want to back up to that because I don't want to miss that out. That's the Repair Act. Repair. If any of you guys who are technicians, you've already run into this. It's the secure gateway module on Chrysler vehicles. I'm sure you've already run into that issue and how it blocked you from access to the rest of the modules on the vehicle. Unless at first there was a workaround, you actually had to pull the radio out of the dash and put in a jumper and get in that way, which is bogus. But and then some tools now are SGW certified. You can actually go to a website called what is it? I have to look it up for you guys. I don't recall it right offhand. I can't call. I don't want to give you the wrong one. But it's a website that's specifically there to allow you to register your scan tools for a small fee to allow you access to through the secure gateway module. In other words, factory wants to pop you in the pocket to do that. Now, it wouldn't be so bad if it was just Chrysler, but it's not. Nissan's getting ready to do the same thing, and other manufacturers, I'm sure, are thinking about it. And then you'd be in a situation where you have to pop through these guys one at a time individually, and that can get expensive in order to be able to service these vehicles. And under the right to repair, the concept is that the consumer has the right to have their vehicle repaired where they want it repaired, and not just have to go to a dealer. It's kind of, I understand both sides of the coin, and I'm sure many of you do. And right to repair, you have the OEM saying, well, we've got a lot of proprietary information we don't want you screwing with, and they're limiting access to us. But there are a lot of talented techs who don't need that to be the case, that we're more than capable of fixing their vehicles and handling their technologies. So this legislation is vitally important. It includes being vetted, which is fine if you are a professional. You shouldn't need to worry about that. But I encourage you to look up the video that we have on the platform that you're watching now. It's there, and it's a conversation we had about the Repair Act, the legislation that's pending in Congress. Learn about it and support it. Let your congressman know that you're supporting it and encouraging him to pass it. It's vitally important if you want to maintain your competitiveness in the market and have access to the information you need to fix these vehicles. And we have someone waiting in the wings, so we're going to bring her on right now. Very bubbly personality.
Oh, you're sweet.
Just clip that on wherever you fit.
My colleague Haas is coming as well.
All right. We can let him jump in when he gets here. So, there's camera. Please introduce yourself, who you're with.
Hi guys, I am Amber Wright and I am with Autoleap, an all-in-one shop management software for auto repair shops.
All right, so that's again, we've had a few that we've talked to you today about their shop management software.
Yeah.
And I think it's intriguing because business is complicated.
It is very complicated.
And keeping track of the details.
Technology is complicated.
Yeah, and keeping track of the details. If you can get that automated, the more you can do that, the more you can focus on what you really need to focus on.
Yeah, really get back and save time. That's really what we're trying to do. Yeah, Haas is going to jump in, my colleague. Right. But yeah, Autoleap is really designed to get the shop owners back and doing what they are supposed to be doing.
That anywhere there, buddy?
Absolutely.
We're live on air.
I like it. What I missed?
Yeah, nothing. Except my battery.
So I was just going in a little bit. We were talking about how technology is clunky. and a lot of, some of the legacy stuff that's out there. So Autoleap really brings in all of those things, from invoicing, estimating, parts ordering, two-way text messaging, Google reviews.
Yeah, absolutely. We built it with the philosophy of, how can we get the job done with the fewest amount of clicks, A lot of time spent on some of these older systems is spent on administrative work, duplication of work, and that's, more time spent on that is less time spent on cars, less time spent on revenue-generating activities. So that's really what we've been focusing on, and the results we've seen have been pretty resounding.
And I've got to say, because I recently met you guys, I think that was it wasn't a big event, that was at Vision.
Vision,
right?
Yep,
we had dinner at
we
Vision,
had dinner
when
at
we first
Vision.
met, and so kind of new on the scene, and right for the market.
Yeah.
But I got to say, these guys are committed to the industry in more ways than one. I mean, not only are they coming out with this excellent shop management product of their own to offer you guys for consideration, but they've been very supportive of events like ATE, big supporter of G's TST big event. We have to get him mic'd back up again so that he can chime in, buddy. There you go. Just throw that on.
They probably could hear me from here.
Probably can, knowing you. And then I want to thank you for that.
Yeah.
Because making resources available to the men and women who can't come to an event like this, who are relying on things like we're doing here to get the information and resources that they need is just vitally important.
Yeah, and that is something too that we're really trying to do. Yes, we provide a software to make their businesses easier, but we're also separately providing, thought leadership. So we work a lot with shop coaches in the industry, experts, and bring a collaborative kind of information to these shop owners, like you said, who wouldn't regularly be able to access that, financially or whatever that may be, or time away from the shop. It's so hard, So we put out regular content. We put about 10 blogs a month out for these shop owners, techs, mechanics, service advisors, all of those things separate from Autoleap, right?
Exactly.
Because it's super important for shops to have access to that and to grow their businesses in many different ways. And it's important to us.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's bigger than Autoleap. We want to be here to help move the industry forward, to help everybody in the industry succeed as well.
Well, I mean, it makes sense, right? I mean, you can have a management program taking care of your back end and making sure everything's right and your Google's okay and your social media, all of that's taken care of. But if you're not staying focused on your goals as an owner, if you're not involving your employees as part of your team, if you're not helping them to grow, if you're not getting them the training resources they need, if you're not getting them the whole package, then none of that matters.
Then it's not
right?
it's not enough just to give the software.
So being able to offer your customers that same suite, if you will, of services to help them, it helps you. So everybody's a win-win.
Absolutely. Right? That's exactly what I see it. Win-win, mutually beneficial. That's exactly how we like to work.
So anybody who's watching wants to know more about Autoleap and how it can help their business, where do they go?
www.autoleap.com.
It's easy.
Yeah, it's very easy. It's simple.
And highly
recommend. And again, support the people that support us. They've done PAVE, they've done TST, they've done Vision, and they've done this show out here.
Yeah.
And that shows commitment and support of the industry. So thank you guys for doing that.
Appreciate that.
We'll be here. We're not going anywhere, and it's important for us, to continue to evolve with the industry. And with that, getting updates, frequently, and those updates come from shop owners. They come from these events, and it's so important for us to be immersed in the day-to-day of what these shops are doing so that we can help them to be better, to grow, and to grow our software with you.
Very good. Very good. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Pete, it's always a pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, hopefully we'll get a chance to have some dinner later on.
Thank you again.
We have
dinner tonight as well.
Oh, yes, that's right.
And just don't let the mic
be in trouble
if you walk away.
How long is it going to take you guys to pack up?
We don't have to.
Oh, you have a team. Excuse me.
Well, thankfully, this one we don't have to.
That's good.
So we'll be ready when you guys are ready.
Whenever you guys are ready, we're ready.
We invited Pete.
Yep.
So.
And,
it's okay. I see him all the time. It's fine by me.
The more the merrier. All right, we'll let you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Well, thank you guys for stopping by.
Absolutely.
See you
It's a
guys.
pleasure.
So
We'll see you
let's
soon.
see. Let me. I'm going to move
Good to see
this
you.
laptop here a
Thank
second.
you
Bear
so
with
much.
me, guys.
Thank you. The battery's going down there, Mr.
Getting
Pete?
low. Plug in there for a minute.
Oh. I'm going to sit on this side of you because I got a hard time hearing.
Can't see on that side.
Why not?
Sit on that side, Coach. Oh, do we?
Yeah.
All right. Sure.
I'll sit back here where we sit.
Sure.
We'll let Gary take the lead.
Yeah,
I
don't
don't
spill
know.
stuff in my electronics. I'll be pissed.
We won't do it on purpose.
Don't do it at all.
Don't do it at all. Yeah, never mind on there.
All right. Have a seat, guys.
You know, I did that to my own computer.
Sunken and spilled.
A whole freaking bottle of water.
I think we're just about wrapping up, I think.
One more person will be Mark Simons, our chairman of the board. He's coming
That
down
would be
in a minute.
a great way to end it up.
Okay.
All right? Great way to end it up. So we'll get you guys mic'd up. Just grab one and clip it to your lapel. You know how to do that stuff. Yeah, we've been on it.
So you all done with classes?
I'm done, man. I did my 3, you know.
Yeah.
We got one more tomorrow morning.
Oh, you got one more?
Yeah.
That worked for
I
you?
saw
Get
your
the deposits class
Did you?
tomorrow.
Yeah, I popped in and got to see you for a little bit
I thought
anyway.
you did see it
The
pop
good,
in for a
the
little
good
bit.
thing is,
That's it. That's on the popper.
you don't even have
Did
to.
a good job today.
Thank you, sir.
Really.
Yeah.
Good.
Appreciate
Yeah.
that. It
So-
was
Enjoyable.
It was a good energy speech. I was glad that it went off pretty well.
Yeah. So,
Except my
so you
voice
guys are
wasn't
watching
working.
may or may not have met this gentleman already, Gary Smith, the keynote speaker from this afternoon that we streamed live earlier today. This gentleman, introduce yourself, who you're with.
Adam Robertson. I'm with CTI and Diagnation with Gary.
Oh, both sides.
Both sides. I play both sides. It's perfect, man. No, we have a great time doing this, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm really glad that you guys came out, go through being involved in the training side. Of course, we've had to talk to G a little bit about that side. These are just some of the trainers that are out here that if you didn't make it,
Yeah, you missed out on
you
good
missed
stuff.
out. I mean, there were some really great classes going on here. But, and Ben would stress this, you still have other opportunities. And I hope that by watching this stream tonight, you're going to take that to heart and say, you know what? I've been to the online stuff that G and Pete have been doing, and I like that. And I watched the videos on the Motor Age YouTube channel. I like that. If you haven't checked out CTI's website or the Carquest Technical Institute or the World Pack Training Institute, check those guys out. You can get your feet in the water in these online and virtual offerings.
Absolutely you can,
right?
yeah.
And affordable, because one of the things we know is a challenge for a lot of technicians in our business. But when you see that and you've gotten a taste for that and you see how that helps you improve, and all of these guys, Gary said it perfectly at his keynote speech. All of us sitting here, we could be doing other things, probably make more money doing it, But we all had good careers in this industry, and for all of us, I think you speak for all of us. We're all here to help.
Even when COVID hit, us at CTI and World Pack, we were forced to go virtual. You know that. And I personally was doing virtual classes every Tuesday and Wednesday night, every week for these 2 years from 7 to 9 p.m. on the West Coast. And the following was fantastic because it's the one thing I had to choose from.
Right.
But I got to tell you, it's great to be back in front of all these people.
Isn't
It's freaking awesome.
It sure is.
When you've been doing this for the decades that, G, you have, and obviously, Gary, you have. It is phenomenal to get back in front of these people.
Oh, yeah. There's
and
nothing
see the
like
faces.
feely touching, see them.
Isn't it just awesome?
See their eyes rather than looking at that stupid camera.
Oh, God.
Nothing against you guys, but
and see
camera.
the physical reaction.
Because
yes.
we can't see the other side.
Yes.
And that's all. Again, that's one of the aspects of live training is being able to get interaction with the people in your audience and with one another.
Exactly. That's a
learn
big
from each other.
I always say,
Fellowship's a big part of it.
you don't always learn just off the instructor. It's everyone else in the class.
That's right.
Everyone knows something you don't know.
Yeah,
and that's how you get better.
Yeah, but even an instructor, this. I was in class today. One of the guys came up with a concept for programming a Class 2 network. He goes, Adam, I actually slow the computer down to take care of that problem. I'm like, that's a good idea. And I told the guys in class, I said, you know what? This is why I love to do this. I love to do it because I pick up from all you too. You think you may come to my classes, me as an instructor, but when I pick up stuff from you, this is what it's about.
So we all learn together.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic.
And then you've given that gem of an idea to someone who has the capability to take it to the others, and then that little. I mean, let's talk like just like some of the old stuff when we first started playing around with scopes. And what was the first thing we did with the fuel pump, right? Get a current ramp on a fuel pump. One of the very first things we ever did years ago, right? But it was one guy that said, I wonder what would happen if. And now that's like essential basic, one of the first things you learn.
Right. Wasn't it an eye-opener? It was a huge eye-opener. We'd never seen anything like that.
Absolutely.
We were teaching that a couple decades ago. It was great.
And then to put it now, the one that I preach a lot to the people who are watching us is the in-cylinder pressure test with this go.
Yes.
Probably one of the biggest developments in diagnostics that I've seen in my career.
Yeah, and a big thanks to Bernie Thompson on that.
Yeah.
Because Bernie thinks out of the box and did one hell of a job.
Yeah,
Yes,
shame
he
that
did.
Bernie isn't here, but
it was a
you guys will
literal
get
game.
chance to see it for sure.
Yeah, it was a literal game. The pressure transducers, I believe, were a literal game changer in this industry.
Big
They
time.
truly were.
Oh yeah.
In
You know, I
relation to diagnosing
still remember when Bernie gave that first presentation. It had been about 2004, and he stood in front of all the CTI instructors back in North Carolina. He go, "We're going to introduce you to Bernie Thompson. I have never met him before." And they're like, "Oh, hold on to your hats. Here comes Bernie." And then he gets up there, and he starts talking about this in-cylinder pressure transducer thing. And we're all looking. I'm looking at all the other instructors. You got to understand this. Almost 2 decades ago. I'm like, I don't get it. No, I got it. And then by the end, we're like, oh man,
Crazy
what a
stuff,
game
man.
changer! And then boom, we ran with it, and it has been once again like all the concepts along the way. You brought up fuel pumps, all of these different things. They've been game changers, and once we get the students to really get a feel and learn to use this and understand the reasons that's what makes our job so rewarding. You know what I mean? It's just freaking awesome.
You look at even scopes. I mean, Scott Brown, that's not here, years back on CompuServe for techs only. Before IATN, that's how I met Scott through the internet. He had a Fluke 97 lab scope, so did I, and not many people know how to use it.
That's right.
And that's how you started learning. And I still have the original DOS disc. DOS.
Wow.
And I'm not lying.
C:// backslash.
That's it. From AES Wave, the Wave file program.
Wow.
We were writing for Import Service years back, and I said to the editor, I'm like, who's this Menchu guy? Jorge. He says, no, he likes to be called George. All right, whatever his name is, how do I get in touch with him?
Yeah.
And he sent me out the DOS disc. I was like, wow.
I'm wearing a George Menchu hat right now. I picked up in Orlando. He goes, Adam, here's a hat from my class. Oh, yeah.
They were
game
really
changers.
neat
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
Definitely.
In the scope of the industry, I think it's really neat.
Get over here, brother.
How we're.
Get over here on the couch.
I'll tidy up.
Yeah, no problem.
I find it's really super neat how all of us, we speak of the old days of George Menchu. I can remember when Jim Zaleski first brought Vetronics out to the aftermarket, right? I mean, we all go back that far in the industry. Sure. And it's so neat that everybody's still around here, here in 2022.
Yeah.
And how far advanced things have come since then.
Well, I'm going to have to step back a little bit here because I'm going to be really honest with you guys and everybody else who's watching you. And I've never made any bones about this. I can always consider myself a decent mechanic. Decent. I'm not, some of these guys here, I wasn't one of the top guys. You know what I mean? I mean, I could get the car fixed. It might take me a few days, but I'd get it done.
Sure.
Right?
Good counts.
What I consider myself now, I don't, these guys, they're in another league. And that's fine because now I get to have the pleasure of meeting these guys and bringing them to you guys and gals so that you can benefit from all they have to offer. That's what we're here to do. The things that I get to do with G and that we've been doing for over a decade with our webinars.
Over a decade now.
Many times I've sat there and just mouth, and you can watch the video, mouth dropped open in awe as I listen to this man teach. His style of teaching, I'd love to listen to him. You heard how dynamic that Gary was, and then Adam, he's another very dynamic presenter. So that just makes the experience all more, I want to say entertaining, but all the more impactful.
But you know what?
Have somebody who doesn't sit there just drone at you in a monotone.
I think we all have our style and maybe different, but there are only so many dynamic instructors out there. If you look at it,
for sure.
Last week at WorldPack, there's a lot of people, and I'd say most of them are decent players in the field, but there's only so many that stick out. And Mark Warren made me aware of this years ago. He said, there's not all these people that you think of out there. There's very little of them, and people that are still out there sharing their experiences, really good. Mac Vanderbrink, may he rest in peace, the father of the Allen Smart Stove.
Yeah.
Mac was out there teaching till he's probably about 80. The guy kicked ass.
Yep.
And, you know, even Jim Lender.
Yes.
Jim Lender was a big promoter of training. Maybe not the greatest instructor, as he used to say. He'd steal everyone's stuff. But you know what?
Why reinvent the wheel?
You don't have to know. You don't have to be technically astute at everything.
Sure.
My mentor, Armin Hines, may rest in peace. This guy could teach anything. Forklift, first aid, crane operation, car stuff. He said, you learn from everyone, and it's how you present it. You got to make it almost a show.
You know what you're saying here that makes a lot of sense to me. I think that what makes some of the instructors stick out is the absolute amount of passion that some of us have for the industry.
You mean like Bernie?
Yeah. I like Bernie. You know, but you know, of all the years,
You're Papa Vane.
Exactly.
All the years that we've been training, and one of the things keeps coming back, you know, guys will come up and say, you know what, I love your passion. I love your passion. And, you know, as an instructor, maybe I don't realize it, you know, because I'm just doing what I truly love, you know. And so it's so nice to get up in front of them and, you know, be able to present that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the instructors that make it will always have that same pizzazz, the passion, whatever it is, and it means a lot. And for most of us, you know, you're not going to become rich doing this. It's not about the money, but when you get up in front of those guys and you know you're talking to them and you see those lights come on, G, you know, Gary, you know, don't you just sit there and go,
I couldn't eat or
Ugh.
drink last night at the bar. I went in there by myself, tried to hide in the corner. The next thing you know, this guy from somewhere watching the other guy's like, I couldn't get out of there. And it makes you feel great. By the way, we love that.
It does, and it's what gets us out of bed.
You bet.
What gives us the passion to study and put these classes together and go out on the circuit, because I think G and Adam and Pete, you can agree. When you look at this month, okay, since the middle of February, all of us have been on the road running back and forth.
Crazy.
Oh, it has been
a crazy tour. What an energy in these classes. That's so neat to see these guys respond to. And right after coronavirus, it's been super duper, because everybody's just been
the feedback.
Just so glad to be back doing in-person training.
And you feel the feedback, whether you're eating lunch or breakfast or you're just walking around, people stop you.
Well, and think about what you just said. We've done this for a month. We did Vision. We did STX in Orlando. We're here at AT. We've done this in a month. And there is no way, if we didn't have the true passion of teaching, if we didn't have the true passion, the energy would still be here. And to watch, you know what I'm saying here? It's been fantastic.
Yeah, because I'm sure we all know, for example, G's got successful businesses outside of his training business. He doesn't need to do this.
Right.
I'm sure that you've got successful businesses other than your trading.
Yeah, we've got Diagnation going, our remote support.
I don't know what other things you're
doing. Well, I'm running Diagnation here with Gary. I mean, look, just yesterday morning, I'm up at 5 o'clock here in our time to help a shop that's 3 hours difference before I get up on stage. I'm working in their shop because it's all about the passion. It's all about the help.
Right.
You know, and that's what makes us who we are. Don't you guys agree?
Yes.
I agree 100%.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, here's a big question. We've all been around a while. I mean, I've been lucky enough to be on this side of the industry for, like I said, over 10 years now. And I've been able to travel around the country, a variety of training events, big and small, see a lot of great instructors. We all know the names, right? There's the you guys, there's Bernie, there's John Thornton, and we all know these names. A lot of these guys watching, they don't know who these guys are. We saw that on Mechanica. They had no clue how some of these guys were. But if I were to ask you guys, who are the rising stars in your mind? That if somebody's watching, sees that name come up on a program or doing a training class somewhere, and he sees that name, who are the ones you guys think of that, yes, you need to go see that guy? Who are the rising stars?
I would say Brandon Steckler right off the bat.
He's obviously one of the superstars that are coming up on our
young guy superstar.
Yeah, exactly.
You got the Brins. You know what you asked? It's such a loaded question. We have a whole handful of them. Yeah. You know, Pete. There's a whole handful of them coming up, and they're all just right. You know what? It feels so good in my heart to see that happen too, because you know these guys. You know, the Brins, the Brandons, and the rest of them are are following in our footsteps. Isn't that kind of cool?
It's neat.
Yeah,
To
and
know that it's happening.
it's nice to know that there's this young group coming up behind you.
Yeah.
That when we do get too long in the tooth, I mean, I want to retire sometime.
Someday,
right? Someday.
But you get someone like Tanner Brandt.
Yes.
Tanner's really good.
Tanner,
Isaac.
Yeah.
Good.
Matt Fanslow.
Yeah.
We've got a huge pool of instructors
there's not
that
many.
Right.
taking it out.
Count them on your fingers.
But I'm proud of those guys because, I've watched, for example, Tanner and Isaac come up in the business. And I'm just really proud of how they've learned their craft in relation to keeping control of the room and making it an enjoyable class. I mean, you go to some of these guys' classes, Matt Fanslow, okay, is another one. Brandon Steckler. I mean, these guys are dynamic instructors standing in front of those classes. And I'm with you, Pete. I'm really, really glad today that we have that generation of passion coming up, right? In other words, what Adam and I do, we feel is, we try to teach with passion. And it's really nice to see these young guys coming up and embracing, because it's not just about being in front of that class. The work this guy does and you do and I do to get that class prepared to go to the street with it is astounding, right? And so to see these young guys embracing that and building their material and getting out there and doing a passionate
And
job
another guy like
developing
that
it
is Keith Perkins.
Absolutely.
Oh yes,
Keith,
definitely.
Keith is very good.
Wouldn't both of you agree that from a training standpoint, it's not an easy job that we do?
Hell no.
And you know what? You can be everything in our industry, know everything, but to be able to get up and have, you said, classroom management and passion and all these things, you could know everything there is to know about a particular subject. That's hard, Pete. It's hard to have the dual ability to get up in front of a class and not only have an idea what you're talking about, but keep them engaged and get that. I mean, look at us. We've done this for a long time, decades, all right? And that is something that you can't teach someone. So when we look at this new pool, the Brins, the Tanners, the Brandons, and the Isaacs, and all these names that just keep flowing to my mind right here, that's a special person that can actually do that. And
Well,
you know what?
It's like being a good diagnostic tech. We have 750,000 men and women in our industry, and I think we'd all agree that maybe 15% are that epitome of the diagnostic professional, right? There's a whole bunch that would like to be and can be that need the resources to do that. But right now, it's a 10 to 50% cream of the crop, if you will, right? And it's no different with the instructors, wouldn't you say? There's a lot of guys who might be doing it, but then there's that cream at the top that are like you guys, have that passion to do for their students.
And we lost a female that you just interviewed, Carolyn, one of my students, Carolyn Choquette. She was freaking good, but she went to a different path. Not only does she run Luscious Garage, but she went with Shopware and took that thing in the past 9 or 10 years that she's been around
and turned it into a dynamo.
A dynamo.
Yep.
Because she has passion for what she does. Teaching, like you said, we're not going to get rich what we do.
Sure.
We'll make a good living.
Sure.
So, it's hard to pull people in. People think you build the class. Oh, yeah, class easy. Just build me a new class.
Yeah, try that one out.
Yeah.
Try that out.
I've been writing my own curriculum for years, and it takes a while to do it. You got to know what sells, how to present it, how to jerk with it, and
not only that, but building process. Right, you have to be technically correct, and that.
Yeah,
and that
does help.
By the way, that's no joke.
It does, but that's what really
joke,
takes the time to get these classes right. So so you write some material, you feel good about bringing it to the street. But I don't. If you're like me, and I'm sure you are, you're going to go back and do the rabbit hole research to make sure you're 100% technically correct.
That's why I have
in front of
the Automotive Bible.
You guys are watching again. You need to keep that in mind, not just for the class you go to, because generally, if you stick with a name instructor like you guys, or a good organization like CTI, WTI, and the others, what I always caution you guys about is YouTube. There are thousands of automotive YouTube channels.
Certified
automotive
certified.
Yeah. You don't need ASC or anything. You just need YouTube.
And we, I know you always talk about this in your diagnostic process and using these kind of things as resources, but vet your resources. Know who that person is that you're getting information from. Don't just take him as the gospel truth because he's got a couple 100,000 subscribers. That doesn't mean anything.
I like what you said about this. As an instructor, and you brought this up, the amount of preparation and time we put in personal experience and study and everything. No one, I think, would really understand. Gee, I think you'd have to agree. Gary, you understand the amount of time we put in, even for a 3-hour class. Like, well, it's only 3 hours. Oh my gosh, boys!
It takes you 2 months to write it.
No,
It's
2-3 months to do it.
Yes,
Amount.
yes.
And you know what you mentioned about the YouTubes and the Google certifieds and all the jokes we make about it. There's a lot of good information out there, but we as technicians and instructors and everything, you need to be able to vet that out. I mean, you can see, and some of it's incredible. I see things sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, it's great. But then again, we have to have the knowledge, the background to be able to pick out what's real and what's Memorex in such a sense.
Right.
And that can be very misleading. And but the thing is, these are resources that are good for every technician. In my mind, I would certainly send everyone to every resource you have. I don't care what resource it is, what class. I'm a guy that's been teaching, for CTI for over 2 decades and been out in the field. I've always told my guys, I've said, you know what? I'm teaching a class here, and I think you guys need to take every freaking class that comes through town. Take every class. I don't care if it's the most mundane brake class to what you think is going to be the most advanced communication class. If you, as a technician, don't pick something up, it's your fault. Because I don't care what that class is. There is something for everybody. You know what I mean?
I go on that same line. I tell people, look, you can't tell me a class sucked. You probably weren't paying attention. You didn't learn one good thing, it's impossible.
Yes, I agree.
It doesn't matter. Some people may be not as dynamic. They may have a mundane type of personality. But, you get something.
Sure.
And getting back to information, I always say, the thing you always need that I refer back to, I call it the Automotive Bible, the Bosch Automotive Handbook. Go to SAE.org. I have version 10. I have one in my office, one at home, and one in my toolbox.
Great book.
Great book.
Yeah.
Because if you want to look something up to go, is that really right? Oh, here's how it works. Because you're always going to get some guy out there. And it was probably about 8 months ago, I was doing an electric class. And one of my guys that I had join SAE as an affiliate member, we're talking about batteries. I said, each cell is 2.1 volts per cell, 12.6. He said, Jay, I hate to correct you, but you always say, we all know, didn't you read that an AGM is more like 12.8, 12.9? I'm like, I must have missed that. And of course, I went back and looked. It was in AE, Automotive Engineering magazine, and I checked with a couple of battery manufacturers. Now, I'm not ashamed to say I didn't know that. Don't know what I don't know.
We can't be ashamed of that. There's not one of us that could know everything possibly. The industry's way too broad.
Man. But what you just said, now picture that in a class. It's like it happened to me today. Someone said something, you're like, well, wait a second here. And you look it up, you're like, dang it, as instructors, we learned something again today. But that's the passion. That's the passion that keeps all of us, the new ones that are coming up, all of us that have been around. I don't want to call us old timers. We've been doing this a while. You know what? That's what makes it happen. And that's the sort of thing that takes the new guys, Pete, and wants them to do what we do. Because that's what it takes to make it happen.
Yeah.
Isn't that awesome?
The biggest joy that I like, I've been teaching classes so many years. This is enjoyable doing slides, but I really like is doing some slides and bring them into the shop and do it.
Do some hands-on.
You can look at a magazine, I always say. Hopefully something goes on there. The video, you wish you can do those moves or doing it. I like doing it. That's how you get good at it.
Right. Yeah, that's true. There's nothing like hands-on. Gee, that's for sure.
In all honesty, come on. We are learners. If you take that guy's hand and, I didn't know you can do that. That's how some of them get it. Reading, I took polls in my classes. I've been writing for Motor Age for a long time, but before that, Import Service, I did other ones. How many people read my article? Few hands.
I'm waiting for the answer.
I did all that writing for nothing?
Yeah.
Okay. I tortured all those editors, including Pete.
It was neat because you say that when I first started with the magazine, and I would go to some of the events, even when I was still doing it on a contributor basis, and I would say, "Hey, I'm with Motor Age magazine," and I get these looks like who, and really, we've been around since 1899, right? So we're not new, But it's amazing. I mean, when we did the Auto Mechanica show the first time in Chicago, we had all kinds of people that had no clue who Motor Age was or
No, but
what
they
was going
knew
on
you
next
from
door.
a video.
Yes.
More
Which has opened up a
people
whole
watch
new
that.
world. And you know what? That's okay. I mean, right now, as far as the publication goes, we probably reach about half of the working technicians in the country. But as part of that aspect of the business, that just tells me I've got a whole lot of work left to do. Because there's still another half to reach.
Right.
And again, going back to what you guys said about the passion, you know, for me, because I have access to guys like you, being able to connect you with them, it is my passion. If I can get up in the morning and say, what can I do today that's going to help the readers of our magazine, the viewers of our videos, take better care of their family? Like you said in your speech, that really hit home with me. Because it's like, that's it. What can we do that's going to help that person, more efficient, more productive? We talk all that, makes your shop owner very happy. But the bottom line is if you can do that, you can make a better paycheck. And that means you can take better care of your family, have the nicer things in life. And you can do the things you want to do by your family. And I said this again earlier, I'm going to say it again. Text, if you're that 15% or you aspire to be and just need the resources. You're looking at guys here that can help you do that. Okay, so take advantage of that. The resources are there.
We need guys that'll shadow us.
Yes. Right. If that's where you're at, that's where you're wanting to be. You have that passion for training. You want to get your professional skills better, and you find yourself in a shop that won't support you. F them. There are shops out there that will. Go to them. They'll bring you to events like this. You saw the shop owner we talked to earlier.
Amen on that one.
Whole shop down.
Boy, you didn't sugarcoat that at all. That was freaking awesome.
Right? Yeah,
Thanks,
thank you.
buddy. Yeah, but
I mean, that's the reality.
So right.
That's
It is
the reality.
reality.
You know,
absolutely.
If you're in that league, I mean, aspire to be, then this industry can make you a nice living and take good care of you. And there's no sense for you to settle for second best, whether it's with your employer. There are shops out there, especially now with the need
That'll pay.
that they
That's
will.
right.
They want you. Where you're going to find them? You get events like this, and you meet the shop owners here. You network with other techs.
I'm looking for people.
And if you settle for second best, you will be second best.
Yeah.
And who honestly wants to be second
and
best?
Nobody does. You
we
know,
don't
that's one of the
want to
lessons
be.
that we learned. The very first Auto Mechanica that we did, they allowed me to put together the training portion. He was a big help making that happen. We had 100 instructors, huge curriculum offerings, and the beauty part was we were able to do something that never been done in the industry before. We made it available to our attendees at no cost. We had the sponsors foot the bill, right? Concept that got me into a lot of trouble with some people. That was okay, because what happened that first event, 2,000 odd people showed up, and they were all new faces that instructors I never heard so many instructors who would come back and tell me that these guys didn't want to leave class, they were involved, they were engaged, they're asking questions, and then you see it at break time in between sessions, and the halls were filled with excited minds.
Yeah.
Doesn't that just make you smile?
It does.
I mean, seriously, boys, doesn't that make you smile to hear things like
I
that?
tell people, more than the money, when someone comes up to me and says, your class helped me, that to me is worth more than the money. Money I need to pay bills with.
Right.
But the accolades that you get for people, I appreciate all the comments. I really
When someone
do.
comes up to you, and I know that it happens to me, when they come up to me and say, "Hey, Pete, I saw that video, I saw that webcast you did, and it really helped me handle that problem," or really appreciate
Look,
that.
I did a bunch of selfies here. A couple of guys did little videos because they watch me. I'd never met them before in my life.
Yeah.
Okay? They follow you. That's great. To me, that means a lot. I say to them, thanks for putting up with me. A couple of people were in my morning class today, and they were going to a different class. They said, no, we're going to your class. I go, I got nothing to do with that. There was no one at the door so you can come in.
You know what's so cool about this? I was talking to Scott Schotten, all right? And Scott, another great instructor on our team, actually. And so we were talking after one of the classes. He says, you know what, Adam? He goes, I'm walking down the hall after my class. He just did a transmission class for drivability guys. He goes, Adam, I'm walking down the hall, and there's a couple guys behind me, and they're going, man, I wish I could be as smart as him. He goes, Adam, it just made me feel good. And it wasn't the smart ass. It was, he goes, you know what? It pick something up. And doesn't that just feel good sometimes,
great.
boys?
It does.
It really does.
That does for me is every time I hear somebody in the hallway saying something like that, I say, now that's the guy that's going to lead himself into being the most dynamic tech on his team, right?
That was what we saw at Auto Mechanica. These people who left that event, they had a taste. They were excited. They found that resources that they've been searching for, and it was made available to them, and now they know where they can go and find more. And then you saw, I mean, the pandemic just put that into overdrive.
It sure did.
I got to give kudos to CTI and WTI for the series of 3 offerings that they made available.
I was just going to say.
Same thing. Here's your opportunity. Wow, look what I found.
That business model.
Social media.
Yes.
And we've seen.
Some of those classes were 2,000 strong. I mean, literally. That was amazing.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And it was people that never came out to training. Right. You know, it's amazing. It's not even the name of an instructor. They came out, there was a free offering. And thank you to all those generous sponsors, all those big companies that put their money where their mouth was. We provided good information with top people.
And you know what we did with that, G? You know what we did? We spurred people that may have never experienced the whole feeling before, the whole everything. We spurred that. And to see it come through like events like here and the other ones we've done, didn't that work?
It worked good.
And you know, now, guys, I know we could probably go on for hours with this. But we want to kind of wind things down.
Absolutely.
I want to appreciate your time and your enthusiasm. I know G for sure would keep you going if I let him.
That's an instructor thing, Pete.
Yes, I know it is. I know it is.
You're saying I yak a little bit too much.
Not at all. Not at all. I always enjoy the time that we spend together and working on the webcast that we've been doing. But thank you all.
Well, thanks for having us.
Thanks, Pete. That was awesome. Thank you very much.
And I think I see
Gary,
my
thanks again, man. Good to see you.
I thought I saw my NWACA board guy.
Yes, he's right there.
Yeah, if you Mark, if you see Mark out there, you tell him we'll come on in.
He's right over there.
We'll get him right there. Thank you, guys.
Thanks again, buddy. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks, Adam.
Thank you, guys.
Adam. Pleasure, man.
Oh, you too, man.
Thanks.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure, Gary. Absolutely.
You know what was a funny thing?
It does. If you love what you do, it's not work. I love it. I could go get up there and just keep yakking and yakking.
Yeah.
If there wasn't someone to stop me, I'd keep going.
Hey, that worked.
You need me here, or
Up to you, buddy. If you want to split out, that's fine. And I'm gonna go ahead and finish up.
I could sit here and throw a couple of words in.
Yeah, I'm just gonna finish up with Mark. Come on in.
Hey, we're moving the drinks away from your electronics.
Thank you very much.
Not a splash at all.
Not one.
Around all the electronics and
The only thing going says, come on in.
Come on in. Have a seat. Have a seat.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
There you go. Just clip that on somewhere.
Have a mic. Any mic.
Have a mic. Clip it anywhere you want. Well, not anywhere you want, but somewhere where
we don't need to hear everything.
See, I'm a lefty, and you had
You gotta get the distributor's information out there and the process. There we go. You can just lay it out on the couch beside you. Be fine.
All right, put it next to me on the couch like that.
That works.
All
and
right.
we haven't met yet.
No.
Pete,
Mark Simons.
Mark Simon. Yeah, you're the one we couldn't get on the live stream the other day.
I couldn't.
Right?
Yeah,
Couldn't
yeah.
make it for the promo, right?
No, I couldn't do it. I apologize for that.
And Mark, you are the.
I am the chairman of the board for NWACA, and I'm an auto repair shop owner. I have 2 locations in Tacoma, Rolf's Import Auto Service.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I got to congratulate you on a great event.
Well,
I think Brenda and the team volunteers did a tremendous job. Very well organized. Some fantastic talent in terms of the presenters. Good crowd. Great trade show. We've had an opportunity. I wish we had a chance to talk to more of your exhibitors this evening, but we did get a chance to showcase many of them tonight during our live stream.
Well, that's fantastic.
And I appreciate the opportunity for being able to try out something new, using you guys as kind of a guinea pig for this kind of a format.
I think it's kind of neat. We got the couches and the chairs.
I was ready
for
it.
Really
back
good,
here.
right?
It
It
sure
must
did.
feel like one of those official late night talk shows.
Yeah.
We just have to have the set behind us next time, right? But we'll work on that.
Right. Put the set behind there.
So we kind of spoke earlier to Candy and Micah,
Yes.
a little bit from the board about their background, a little bit about NWACA, but to kind of close out this evening's stream, please share with those who are watching. Tell us the NWACA story.
The NWACA story? Well, the NWACA story to me is one of, opportunity, one that we can get together with each other and be able to, not only have, get discounts and things like that from vendors, but to be able to share stories and the opportunity to sorry, I'm a little...
Not at all, but I know it.
Share ideas, education.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Educational
Update people.
I think the key word in the name, NWACA, is the last one in the name, alliance.
Yeah, alliance. Alliance together.
Alliance is a group together for a common goal. Right. And that's each other's success.
And or for benefits or for management to keep shops in business.
Yeah. That's one thing that I've even had opportunity, and my father started my location, so I came into it, and the first thing I did is join an association similar to NWACA, and that was because of reasons to be able to excel myself, right?
Sure.
And then the fact that in this industry anyway, in this association, we all alliance together, and it was easy to call somebody,
right,
and saying, hey, I'm having a problem with this, and it was within, I'll be over there in an hour to come talk to you about that, and I think that's what the alliance, like you're talking about like an association like this.
And of course, the AT, the Automotive Training Expo, that's your flagship, if you will.
It sure is.
Training event for your members, and not just your members, of course. Anyone's welcome to come here. There's no limitation to that. In fact, you have attendees from all across the United States, that are here today.
I think Zodiac, right? Alaska. We've had somebody from Zodiac, Alaska.
Yeah. So I mean, that's huge. But there's the everyday benefit of NWACA, right? How many chapters do you guys have now?
I believe in the state there's like eight chapters.
That meet monthly, bi-monthly?
They meet every month. Most of them meet monthly. Some of them do meet quarterly. But I belong to the Pierce County chapter, and that's a monthly chapter. And typically we meet on a monthly basis, like the first Thursday of every month. And there's up to 70 different shop owners and suppliers there, and sometimes trainers.
Yeah.
Depending, and we have a speaker each month.
Yeah. So at the very least, is again the ability to excel and network. With fellow shop owners who are having the same problems you are.
You bet.
And congratulations! I just found out that there's a lot of expansion going on with the Northwest Auto Care Alliance.
There are. We've gone. We're working into Oregon and Idaho, Montana, Alaska, hopefully one of these days, and starting to do that. And a lot of growth within Washington State itself.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, Mark, from what I saw here, with the support of your volunteers and with Brenda leading the charge there as your executive director, doing the work she's doing, I'd see nothing but success in the future for NWACA. And I look forward to being able to come out here again next year's event, and maybe do a little more than what we did, and being the media partner that your organization needs.
Well, I think I'm glad that you're here doing this. This is great for us and our NWACA, and as well as AT in general. Appreciate you guys doing this.
Well, thanks for what you do.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And a pleasure. Keep the good work up.
And thank you for the classes that you did today too.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, so guys, gals, I know we're not going for like the whole. Hey, we're pretty close. About a half hour before the trade show is going to be over. But as I mentioned earlier, it's quieted down a little bit. People are kind of relaxing. They've taken care of the business they want to take care of here on the show floor.
Thank you.
And I'm sure that here the area locations are now sitting back and getting themselves a drink, enjoying the networking that we've been talking about all night. And no fan pictures. But again, thanks my buddy G for coming out, hanging out with me as we always do. Don't forget, April 23rd, 6 p.m. comes the next webinar that he and I are doing together. Keep an eye out right here, the social media channel that you're viewing this on, for more information. And we will see you next time in the Funny Papers.
You bet. I'll catch you.
Thank you.
Thanks. How many hours